Good afternoon to you and welcome to this live proceedings of the National Assembly. It is Tuesday, the date is 9th March 2021. We are glad you're watching. This broadcast is brought to you courtesy of the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. This is in collaboration with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Gladys Mungai and I'll be taking you through the highlights in the order of business this afternoon session. The House is set to resume a debate on a couple of bills, as well as various motions. The first bill is by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration of National Security. This is on the narcotic drugs, as well as psychotropic substances. National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2020. The Kenya National Blood Transfusion Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2020, by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Health, is also lined up for debate. The bill by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and Matters National Security on the County Government's Amendment Bill, this is Senate Bill number 13 of 2018, has also been highlighted in the order of business this afternoon. Also lined up for debate is the National Cohesion and Peace Building Bill, National Assembly Bill or Senate Bill number 35 of 2018. This is by the Chairperson, Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. The Chairperson, Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Matters Library, will be moving a motion on the formulation of the parliamentary broadcasting channels, that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on the Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library. This is on the formulation of the parliamentary broadcasting channels, and that particular report was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. Another motion is the implementation of status on a petition. This is in regards to the working conditions at Kwale International Sugar Company by the Chairperson, Committee on Implementation. That this House adopts the report of the Committee on Implementation on the implementation status of the report by the Departmental Committee on Matters Labour as well as Social Welfare on a petition regarding deplorable working condition of workers at the Kwale International Sugar Company Limited. And that particular report was laid on the table of the House on November 26, 2020. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Orders 42A subsection 5, members of the National Assembly will be fielding questions before the specified departmental committees. Member for Matuga, Honorable Kasim Sawa Tandaza, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Labour and Social Protection to provide statistics of the elderly persons as well as persons with disability who are under COVID-19 relief fund countrywide. The Honourable Member will also be seeking to understand when all elderly persons as well as persons with disability who are yet to receive funds or benefit from COVID-19 relief fund will start receiving funds. That particular question will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Welfare. On your screens is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honourable Justin Muturi, making his way into the chamber. I'll now hand you over for the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing. Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you are connected to our church. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Simiyu Majimbo Kalasinga Joseph Wekesa.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to introduce you to the MP-elect of Kabuchai constituency. Mr. Speaker, his name is Simiyu Majimbo Kalasinga Joseph Wekesa. Thank you, sir.
You're Christian?
I, Simiyu Majimbo Kalasinga Joseph Wekesa, having been elected a member of the National Assembly, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of Member of Parliament. So help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
now walk in and take a seat. Very well. Proceed. Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of the majority party.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today. Tuesday, March the 9th, 2021, in the afternoon sitting. And I wish the members would allow the new member to observe the proceedings of the House. So it doesn't get lost in papers being laid. Number 1, the annual report and financial statements of Kenya Ports Authority for the financial year 2017-2018. Number 2, the annual report and financial statements of the Office of the Controller of Budget for the financial year 2018-2019. Number 3, the report of the Auditor General and financial statements of the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife for the year ended 30th of June 2018 and the certificate therein. Number 4, the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2019 and the certificates therein. A, National AIDS Control Council. B, Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation. Number C, the outstanding obligations guaranteed by the Government of Kenya, the National Treasury. Number D, the Kenya Law Reform Commission. Number E, the Kenya Accreditation Service. And F, Alupe University College. And lastly, number 5, the report of the Auditor General and financial statement of the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, PLC, for the year ended 30th of June 2020 and the certificate therein. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chairman, Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Haji.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House. Today, Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, afternoon sitting. Addendum to the report on the consideration for approval of the ratification of the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, between Kenya, a member of the East African Community of the one part, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland of the other part, tabled on 25th February 2021, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Thank you.
Yeah, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Leader of majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 28, subsection 4, this House resolves to alter its calendar 2021 regular sessions by varying the period for the short recess with respect to the first part of the session so that A, the short recess commences on Friday, March the 12th and ends on Monday, 22nd of March, 2021, and B, the House resumes on Tuesday, March the 23rd, 2021, to continue with the first part of the session. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
First part, questions. Honorary questions. First question by the member for Matuga, the Honorable Kasim Sawa Tandaza. Member for Matuga, Honorable Kasim Sawa Tandaza. Next question by the member for Baringo Central, the Honorable Joshua Kadie.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to ask question number 044 of 2021. And this is directed to Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. 1. Could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether the national government has any plans to construct a sewerage system in Kabarnet Town, which is the Baringo County headquarters? And if so, when will the project commence so as to address the continued discharge of untreated waste along the roads and open area in Kabarnet Town? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. Next question by the member for Emuhaya, the Honorable Omboko Milemba. I saw you, yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 074 of 2021, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Transport Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain whether there are any plans to rehabilitate and repair the Musu-Tsui-Humusalaba Road and the Emurembe-Ebunangwe Campus roads in Emuhaya constituency, considering that the roads are in deplorable state with several collapsed bridges? Number 2, Honorable Speaker, when will the ministry upgrade the Emusu-Tsui-Humusalaba and the Emurembe Ebunangwe Campus roads to bitumen standards? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Question will be responded to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. A question by the member for Njomfu, Honorable Bandi Tualib. He requested? Yeah, the member wrote requesting that the question be defined. The request was acceded to. Next question is by the member for Garsen, the Honorable Hadley Wario Guyo. Member for Garsen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I raise to ask question to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the status of operationalization of the Administrative and Service Delivery Coordination Unit established in the recently created sub-counties, divisions, locations, and sublocation as specified in Kenya Gazette Notice Roman number 119 of 21st June 2017. Number 2, what is the status of operationalization of the above established administrative units in Tana Delta Sub-County, Tana River County, namely Chira, Handaraku, and Matangeni locations, and Gomesa, Odoganda, Burakrashi, Lailoni, Onwerde, and Boramoyo sublocations? What steps has the ministry put in place to ensure that there is adequate human resource and support facilities in the newly established units across the country, and in particular in Garseni constituency? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next question will be responded to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Next question by the member for Njoro, Honorable Charity Chepkwony.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity to ask the question number 089, 2021. My question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination. And the first Roman number question is, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all integrated internally displaced persons in Njoro constituency? Could the Cabinet Secretary give details on all monies disbursed and the parcels of land allocated to the internally displaced persons, including a breakdown of the beneficiaries? Roman 3, could the Cabinet Secretary bank details and disbursement methodology? Number Roman 4, what measures are in place to ensure that the remaining persons living in IDP camps or rest settlement areas in Njoro constituency who are living in deplorable conditions are compensated and are permanently resettled. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Question will be replied to before the Committee on Administration and National Security. The next question by the member for Turkana County, the Honorable Joyce Akai Emaniko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question 091 of 2021, directed at the Judicial Service Commission. 1, what led to the stalling of construction of the proposed Turkana High Court, which was awarded to Landmark Holdings Limited in 2017, and how is the Judicial Service Commission addressing the problem? 2, when will the construction of the project resume, and what is the revised contract period? Honorable Speaker, I asked this question in 2018. I revisited it in 2019, and this is 2021. It is clear that the JSC are unable to give the written response that was requested. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I propose that the JSC gives an oral response through the JLAC committee. Honorable Speaker, I'm passionate about this question because I was personally affected during my petition when the judge was giving a ruling and he was attacked in the semi-open court in Lodwar, along with his bodyguard, along with my bodyguard who also tried to protect the judge, and I almost also was beaten by my own supporters who are angry at the ruling. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to say that that was against my wish, and that Turkanas have since learned that ventilating their discontent does not necessarily have to be through violence, and they are peace-loving people, as may be witnessed by Kamuket. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oh, that bit of the witness isn't, maybe isn't around. Very well, I think, Honorable Emaniko, the question should be given, should be written, but orally to be replied to before the Departmental Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs. The Chief Registrar of the Judiciary should be in a position to appear and explain the issues raised. For the second time, question number 026, member for Matuga. For the second time, the member for Matuga, Tandaza. Tandaza amekosa kuja kutandaza. Question dropped. Next segment, request for statement. Request by the Honorable, the member for Tigania West. Tigania West, the Honorable John Mutunga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to request for the statement regarding policy or guidelines for school candidates sitting for national examinations at the basic level. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairman of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding lack of policy or guidelines for candidates sitting for examinations on syllabus coverage and attendance to classes. Honorable Speaker, in the Kenyan basic education system, all students who register for final examinations are supposed to sit for the same examinations when it is scheduled. It is notable that no general or specific guidelines restricting registered candidates from sitting for such examinations for lack of proper coverage of the syllabuses or attendance to classes. Honorable Speaker, this situation has led to cases of students registering for such examinations and failing to attend classes only to appear during the examinations time. Such negligence has demoralized many head teachers and/or principals in view of reduced mean scores based on unprepared students. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the measures in place or the ministry is considering, if any, to ensure that a student can only sit for examinations if he or she has been regularly attending classes and has also attained a certain level or percentage of syllabus coverage. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The chairperson or chairman, as the case may be, of the Departmental Committee on Education, when can you issue the statement? The chairperson is not present. Now, who is raising your hand up? Are you a chairperson or a vice? No. Those things, when they go through members, they don't seem to get to the. Let the statement be issued through the leader of majority. The request will be presented through the office of the leader of majority. I see a number of interventions. Honorable Limo, what is your intervention about?
Honorable Speaker, I was actually interested in commenting on the statement on the issue of examination, Mr. Speaker. Because my view, Mr. Speaker, is that even in the universities, Mr. Speaker, there is a requirement that a certain number of classes or hours must be attained. Mr. Speaker, my view is that the Ministry of Education should be very serious about examination, especially in primary and secondary, now that the CBC has come. In fact, the worst time, Mr. Speaker, is there is yet to be decided whether examination will be done in standard 6 so that they transit to junior secondary, and the junior secondary is yet to be decided whether it will be domiciled in primary or in secondary. So examination is a real issue now, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, I saw two statements, and I want you to indulge the House that you ask the chairs. One of them is a statement I sought, and the timeline you gave was 2 weeks. One was to Honorable Florence Mutua, the Chair of Education. The other one was to Honorable Posing, a very good friend of mine. And the 2 weeks have lapsed. I've checked my email, waited for the written response. And the Speaker, now being a senior backbencher, I keep track of my business in the House. So, Mr. Speaker, you should have asked the two chairs that they should treat our statements with a lot of urgency it deserves. So 2 weeks are over. I expected at least today, by morning, to have received a copy. I'm yet to receive. So, Speaker, so you are the head of the institution, you are our Speaker, and you can ask, Honorable Posing is here, you can ask what has happened to my statement. If it is on the way, I have no problem, but you should tell me that it has not disappeared. Because the people have asked on their behalf, asking what happened, we want the answers.
Honorable Kosing.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And yes, I acknowledge the statement from Honorable Duale. Remember, he had asked before I came on the floor, and you noticed me when he had just asked. Honorable Speaker, his statement is weighty, and we therefore decided as a committee that is going to appear before the committee and the minister, so that they can be able, then we can resolve at that level, because, Honorable Speaker, you directed that there are certain very weighty statements that require the member to be there so that he can ask supplementary questions rather than on the floor. And we follow that direction, Honorable Speaker. Most likely, tomorrow, 2:30, most likely I'll follow up with the office of the clerk, whether Honorable Duale has been invited. Tomorrow, 2:30, to appear before my committee and the minister, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
Very well. Honorable, yes, there are very many people who have I'm dealing with interventions only now. So, and I'm following them as they have been placed. So don't jump. It's not going to help. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to seek your direction, Honorable Speaker, because Honorable Charles Were of Kaspul Kapondo is actually a member of National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities Committee in this House, which oversights NCIC, is now a prime suspect of violence summoned by NCIC. Honorable Speaker, it will have been common sense that you cannot oversight an institution that is investigating you. So I want, because I've analyzed, I've read our standing orders. I've not seen that the directives that we will take, so that as NCIC investigate, Honorable Charles Were does not in any way intimidate by his oversight role in a committee called NCIC. So I seek your directive. Is it in order for him to be the one oversighting the institution that is investigating him? It is common sense that you cannot, but you know, common sense is not common to everybody. So I don't know if it is to resign or to step aside or whatever. And Honorable Speaker, remember, he's one of the one who complained a lot, so that I should be removed in National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities Committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well, I think that's the. Remember that the National Assembly specifically, if you look at Article 95, oversights all national state organs, including the EACC. The EACC are generally oversighted by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, as well as the NCIC. So, and they investigate members here. They are never scared about whether they investigate members who oversight them or not. So, because that one is, I think it's perfect, because it's a matter that can be sorted out within the functions of the Commission. They will be able to deal with it. And the Honorable Bukose is suggesting that he wants to do something a bit more radical. The Honorable Duale and raised an issue about a statement request to Education Committee. Now, we've noticed that both the chair and the vice chair, who is the vice chair now? Oh, the member for Nyeri Town. He must be busy elsewhere. I think somebody should. I don't know what is happening to the Honorable Florence Mutua. Yeah, I thought so. That point be raised through the office of the leader majority. Honorable Amalo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your direction pertaining the dress code of Majority Leader Emeritus. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Duale, since he became a senior backbencher, when you look at this dress code, you can see the chest is out. We want to know, Mr. Speaker, is that parliamentary? Up here, yeah. It's the Speaker to give direction. Yeah, please.
Well, I will refer you to my earlier communication and draw everybody's attention to it, because now I've noticed another member. It must be the member for, I think, Mandela North, is it? I think we need to address this issue, because very soon I don't want this house to be turned like some other place where people are coming in all manner of, because the communication is that there must be color. But we'll look at that communication. Honorable Olagwa Luoch.
Mr. Speaker, is on the same issue. on the same issue, from where I'm standing with the Speaker, I remember your ruling very clearly. The sleeves must be covered, the neck must be covered. Honorable Duale's neck is exposed. Yes. Yeah. His upper torso is exposed. So if he wants to wear what he's wearing now, he must button up to the neck. If he cannot button, then he gets out. Now he has buttoned.
They see there's another intervention by the member for Moyale. All these are interventions.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I did ask for a statement on 11th of February this month. And even that day, Mr. Speaker, I expressed this is a matter of urgency because some schools are closed and people have moved away from their homes. That day, you gave the direction that it should be reported back to this House on after end of 2 weeks. 2 weeks elapsed last Thursday, Mr. Speaker. So I'm wondering.
It was to which committee?
It is a committee of Interior and Security.
Where is Honorable Koinange? Vice Chair? Fatuma Gedi, do you have a card? Yes?
Which one? Mr. Speaker, I beg for one more week. We'll come back to the House. Yeah, after the recess, because we had a lot of challenges with us in terms of getting the CS, but after recess, we will come back to the House.
Yes,
there's police recruitment going on. There's a lot of activities going on, Mr. Speaker. No. So
this House cannot be held hostage by activities happening elsewhere. Did you hear what the member was asking? Honorable Fatuma? No. Did you hear what the member for Moyale is asking?
Yes, I did, Mr. Speaker.
Because he's raising an issue that some schools have even been closed. And you had promised to bring the statement by end of last week.
Mr. Speaker.
Why don't you have a word with him so that you can agree on when if you understand the gravity of what he is raising, then you will be in a position to give an appropriate response. Honorable Gufo, what do you want to say? Give him, the member of Moyale. Can you put your intervention, press your intervention button? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I did really express a lot of pressure that I'm facing on the ground because of the displaced communities. And I clearly also said that actually 2 schools, Imani exam is just about to start, Mr. Speaker, sir. And even that day, you remember Honorable Kaluma, because the chair and the vice chair was not around, they said they will give us by the end of the 2 weeks. I've been following the chair. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very, very serious situation. People who have been displaced from their homes, the children are not going to schools, they are missing exams, and all I'm requesting is that I'll incur all other expenses to return the people where they are, but just provision of security. Mr. Speaker, sir, I think these need a very urgent action, and I plead for your indulgence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Indeed, it's yes, Fatuma. Especially when they say that the students cannot sit exams.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker. I agree with him. There's a problem in Marsabit, but I commit to this House that I come on Thursday with a comprehensive response, Mr. Speaker.
This Thursday?
This Thursday.
Very well.
Thank you.
Very well. Honorable Pukose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, over the weekend, a very significant event happened in this country, especially in the Mount Kenya region, where one of us, Honorable Speaker, we were before the Njurin Jege was declared, and we want to acknowledge that position, Mr. Speaker. You know, Njurin Jege, Mr. Speaker, just like the Kaya in the coast, is a very significant group of elders in this country that whatever they speak must be noted, and we acknowledge. I just wanted to congratulate you, Mr. Speaker, for that support from the Njurin Jege. And you should come to Mount Elgon for further blessings. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The next online is the member for Suba North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to congratulate you for the new role and very important role that you have got. It's not a very easy thing. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, may I encourage you in your new role that you promote the voices of women, because there was a time I was doing a research when I was still working with the International Commission of Jurists, and we went with the American ambassador, who was then a woman, and then Njurin Cheke told us it doesn't matter what position you hold as a woman, you cannot appear before them. So perhaps what you can encourage is encourage the Njurin Cheke to be more sympathetic to women. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, I've seen two worrying things not related to this, which perhaps you may want to speak to. One, that earlier on people were talking about dressing, which I have no problem about. But even as we are talking about dressing, which seems to borrow from Asia, an honorable member that I'll not mention, because I don't want to victimize him, was actually walking out of the chambers in jeans. Proper blue jeans. Not even black, where we are debating whether it's jeans or not, or whether it's khaki jeans. Proper blue jeans. Mr. Speaker, as much as we are liberal, but there are still rules that need to be obeyed. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate our members in NASA who have, for once, done well, because they are not used to winning. Some of us are used to winning. But the rules have not changed, that you cannot come into the House with party colors, even when you are overexcited, unless the rules change during COVID, and I'm not aware. And that is why even when we win a SODM, we don't come here adorning orange, Mr. Speaker. Maybe it escaped your attention, but I saw a whole lot of people here with the luminous green. Maybe we can be sympathetic for once, just like a person who, who may be enjoying Christmas once in a leap year, or maybe somebody born in a leap year, and the birthday comes once. So perhaps we might be sympathetic with them on account of that, but really the rules of the House are that you do not adorn party colors. There were about 4 members wearing the same time walking in unison, and another one wearing a mask, the same, and the dress adorned in the same colors, Mr. Speaker. So they are not color singers, Mr. Speaker, unless you want to account. Honorable Shakil Shabirwa, I don't know if that is a color of Kalasinga, but Mr. Speaker, even as we encourage them and so that they can do better in future, but really let us keep the rules of the House. Thank you.
True. Yeah, absolutely right. All these are interventions of our members. The intervention by the member for Moranga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me join my colleagues in congratulating you on the newly acquired role and the respect you got from Njurin Jeke. Mr. Speaker, as a person from the region, I'm very proud of you, and I know you got what it takes. And you have a big role, Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, starting from this House, to bring all of us together. And I've always, Mr. Speaker, challenged you as our Speaker that you can be able to mobilize all of us, and especially where we are headed to. Mr. Speaker, I'm very sure and I believe in your leadership that we can be able to come together and actually make sure that the handshake also works. Mr. Speaker, why I was giving the intervention is about 3 matters. One, before we went for recess last Parliament, I brought up an issue about Gituamba land, and we had a long and lengthy session with the Committee of Lands. But Mr. Speaker, among the prayers of the petitioners was that that land, there were trees that were being planted and they were growing. And as you know, with nature, Mr. Speaker, having a petition didn't stop the trees from growing. And I've not gotten the response from the Lands Committee, and I'm afraid that the community might take the law in their hands. And so I'd request, Mr. Speaker, that the Lands Committee tables that report so that we are able to have a closure on that matter with KTDA. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, if I remember well, we raised a motion such that the issues we had raised last session before we went on recess, that they will not die. And so some of those issues, Mr. Speaker, was a question about some tea farmers who are not able to pick their tea because they wanted to be moved from the factory. And that one, you committed the question to the Committee of Agriculture. I've not had a response. And since then, you can imagine, Mr. Speaker, is now many months, and the farmers are still stranded, and we don't have an answer. Mr. Speaker, I also have several bills. There was a bill that was a Basic Education Amendment Bill that I actually even met with the Committee on Education, but somehow down the line, I don't know what happened to that bill. I also had another bill, the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill. It's a bill that we had actually passed in this Parliament last time, but we didn't really get to the last phase. And so it died with the other previous Parliament. Immediately we came back, Mr. Speaker. I brought back the bill. I met the Committee on Labor and Social Services. I don't know how it was again brought to the Health Committee. And so the bill is somehow lost, Mr. Speaker. And so I request that the matters I've raised, Mr. Speaker, being taken with urgent and utmost priority, Mr. Speaker, so that I can be able to actually give a feedback to the people on the ground. But number two also, those very important bills, and especially the Basic Education Amendment Bill, had very important, Mr. Speaker was the chair of education last Parliament, and there were several and very important recommendations had done, or amendment we had done in that proposed amendment. And so I ask for your intervention, Mr. Speaker, so that those bills again don't die. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Very well. I think the information I have is on the question. Honorable Sabina, you know, the questions don't subsist. They don't go beyond a session. So you needed to, and we gave that communication immediately we resumed. We gave communication that members to revive their questions. What was saved in if you remember, the last procedural motion in the last session were the various bills at various stages for members, and I believe a few petitions. But of course, with regard to the issue that is with the Committee of Lands, I believe the chair, as you know, she is indomitable. Honorable Rachel Nyamai, committee is one of very, very active. Perhaps she could comment on that. Then the other one on the breastfeeding bill, a report from the committee is awaited. We're just waiting for the report of the committee. But we have given instructions that all the pending business before committees, they should expedite so that we don't frustrate the efforts of individual members. So that I think that we shall pursue with the committee. Honorable Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the compliments. And I would like, before I respond to the Honorable Sabina Chege, to congratulate you for the new role that you got. We have so much faith in you. You have taken care of this House in the 11th Parliament and this 12th Parliament. And I would like to say, from where I sit, that you are equal to the challenge. Honorable Speaker, let me go to the matter that has been raised by the Honorable Sabina Chege. The Departmental Committee on Lands took this matter seriously, Honorable Speaker. We met the Honorable Member, we met the petitioners, we met KTDA, we met National Land Commission. And I would like to say that we are at the tail end of concluding this report. I would like to apologize, first of all, Honorable Sabina Chege, for the delay. But I would like to commit that in the next 1 week, it's going to be done. So, Honorable Speaker, that is the response that I can give, that it is an important matter. It concerns land that seems to have, matters that seems to have been changed with regard to ownership, and I would like to say that we are going to conclude it in the next 1 week, Honorable Speaker.
With regard to the issue raised by the Honorable Millie, yes, it has been confirmed. Indeed, there was a member that was dressed in blue jeans. The member was advised by the Sergeant at Arms to withdraw from the chamber. He appeared to have traveled a long distance from Turkana, and I think he had forgotten where he was going. So he has obediently withdrawn from the chamber. And I think it is good for him to have withdrawn without causing a lot of unnecessary fight. But it's good. Thank you for the observation. Member for Game.
Mr. Speaker, mine is not much. Let me join my colleagues in congratulating you for the enthronement by Njuri Njeke. I'm now sure that when we come to Mount Kenya, Baba will be dealing with somebody he knows very well. Thank you very much.
Honorable Sankok, you also have another issue.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the House that there have only been 4 people who have been given the same honor as you. That is Njomo Kenyatta, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now you. So, Honorable Speaker, let me join my colleagues in congratulating you for this new role. It is not by chance, it is not by luck, it is not by coincidence, it is not incidental. It is because you have leadership qualities, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in this House, we refer you as a mobile encyclopedia when it comes to the master of our Constitution. Honorable Speaker, so those elders really knew what they were doing. And I take this opportunity to congratulate you for that new role, Honorable Speaker. And we believe in you and we trust in you, especially some of us who are new members. We have really learned a lot from you, and we have been able to catch up smoothly because of your guidance, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as Elisha has said, I don't know whom he referred to as Baba, because for me, I only have 2 fathers, my biological father and my heavenly father. And I may not refer anybody else. So, Honorable Speaker, I also will advise my deputy party leader, now that he knows whom he will be dealing with when he comes to the mountain. Your voice will roll in the mountain, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Congratulations so much.
Oh. Now, Honourable members, these interventions, I hope, okay, I see the next one is Honourable Kamket.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to recognize you and say that the elders made no mistake in giving you the position of an elder. And I want to welcome you, Mr. Speaker, to join some of us. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, you know I was installed as the spokesman of the Pokot Nation, from Laikipia to Uganda. And yes, so I want to invite you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the Council of Elders, and to remind Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, sir, as we come to the end of the life of this Parliament, you will naturally, I want to persuade you that to naturally go back to the house that nurtured you. That is the house of Kanu. When you finish all this business, you go back to the house that nurtured you, and you will work with Senator Gideon Moi as we form the next government. Otherwise, congratulations, sir.
Now all these are interventions. The next one on this side is the member for Kilifi North. Eh?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you for the new role that the elders saw fit to bestow. You know where I come from, the Kaya elders. Actually, that's a sacred, not just a seat, but a sacred seat. Therefore, I wish you God's help in executing the mandate and the new role that you have.
Thank you.
And as you do that, please don't forget us from the lower coast as you try to bring the country together. Congratulations, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member for Nyando.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much. And on the same breath, let me also pass my congratulations to you for the enthronement. Honorable Speaker, it could not have come at a better time. We are at a crisis as a nation. Courtesy of the political class, we see a lot of division in this country. We have been looking for a voice of reason, a voice of unity, a voice that can preach peace and tranquility. And the Njurinjeke community saw that in you, and we fully support Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this House plays a pivotal role when it comes to perpetuation of peace in this nation. And I see the leaders of political parties, with due respect to all of them, take a lot of solace and comfort each time members of this House accompany them in their political activities or escapades. And therefore, this House, in retrospect, would play a very important role to unite this nation and have it move forward. How I wish that we will rise above self. We will rise above political affiliations and considerations and unite this country. 2022 will come and go, and that is one of the reasons why this country has experienced lots of divisions. But, Honorable Speaker, my Bible tells me that we should be so quick to listen and slow to answer. And you are exactly in that position, Honorable Speaker. When this country was at the brink of precipice in 2007, most of those that championed that particular occurrence was a result of pronouncements from the political class. We have seen once again politicians, playing the gongs of war once again. And we are barely a year into the next election. And I'm very afraid, Honorable Speaker, that left unchecked, this country may go deeper into the morass where we don't want it to be. And, Honorable Speaker, I support you, reach across the aisle, as you have always played a very impartial role in this House. We expect you to do the same. Please reach out to our political leaders. Bring them together once again. Only one president can be at any given time in this country. We know those who cannot be presidents, however much they try. We know those who can be presidents if a level playing field will be in place next year. And, Honorable Speaker, I congratulate you, and I ask you to help us bring this country into peace, into oneness, so that we live together as a one unitary society. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honourable members, can we not... that Honourable Chieng? Member for Rangwe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. I also join... Mr. Speaker, I come from Ugenya.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to congratulate you, sir. And many times fruits just fall by the tree, and they only fall when they are ripe. It is only prudent that a wise man who has discharged his duty responsibly be recognized by his community to be given another level of responsibility. And this is exactly what has happened to you, Honorable Speaker, and I congratulate you. And the great people of Rangwe constituency also congratulate you. And having said that, Honorable Speaker, sir, there was a matter that was raised here in the manner of addressing that members need to observe. But it is also getting worrisome, and it is prudent that in your wisdom that your community and the larger Kenya has seen as you discharge your responsibility, that you kind of spew this wisdom on members who have juvenile tendencies. Because as it were among us here, Honorable Speaker, sir, there are members who forget that all of us who are in this National Assembly for one reason or another are representing an electoral college. There are members who do not have respect for colleagues, and I think I need to bring your attention to this, especially what is happening. What makes me stand and talk in this National Assembly is Rangwe constituency and the great people. But it is important that it is brought to Hansard that if you do not address and bring to conclusion matter of disrespect among colleagues, then it is going to escalate into something nasty which is not good for this House. And I'm saying this without fear of contradiction, that if you do not arrest, because I have looked at it responsibly and as an academic, if you do not address the matter of Gladys Wanga spewing a lot of insults at me in my constituency that are political, then it is going to degrade into something else that is not going to be very pleasant for this House. So I seek your indulgence on this matter, Honorable Speaker, that investigations be done accordingly and it be addressed responsibly. I congratulate you once more, Honorable Speaker, and thank you for your new role, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, honourable members, Honourable Kanini Kega. But honourable members, even as the Honourable Kanini Kega, Chair of Budget Appraisal Committee speaks, I've always said it, honourable members, I have advised in the past that in fairness, let us respect one another. You know that I'm always hesitant, even when I'm invited by other groups to visit any part of this country without the knowledge of the area member of parliament. It's just a matter of courtesy. If you visit, the Honorable Kanini Kega's constituency in his absence, also, you may have been invited by whoever it may be, but it's only fair that because you sit here in this house with the Honorable Kanini Kega, when you're there, you try to project an image of collegiality. I think it's only fair that that happens. I'm not saying that with respect to the issue that the Honorable Lilian Gogo has raised, but I think generally it is important that when you visit your colleague's constituency, particularly in their absence, it's only fair that you avoid or refrain as much as possible from projecting your colleague in the negative. I think it's not right, and it's just a matter of courtesy. Honorable Kanini Kega.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and I really want to join my colleagues in congratulating you in your new role, Honorable Speaker, that you are given over the weekend. Honorable Speaker, I would really want to remind members here and Kenyans at large that even in terms of the pecking order, Mr. Speaker, in the country, you are number 3 after the President and the Deputy President. You are actually number 3, Honorable Speaker. So the new role that you have been given is another feather that has been given to you. Honorable Speaker, for those who come from Mount Kenya, we know the importance of that position. And you know that you are up to the task. There are so many of us who are either envious of that installation, but were, at the same time, the others who are jealous about the position. But what God has blessed, no man can curse. So, Mr. Speaker, proceed, and we are behind you, and we will support you. Honorable Speaker, on what Dr. Lydian Gogo has actually raised, it happened 2 months ago in my constituency, where a battalion, a team led by the nominee number 1, you know, and himself, another member of parliament, and another senator, in a funeral, which was really not a very good thing because they even snatched the microphone from the father and all that. But the good thing, Mr. Speaker, when I asked my good friend, Honorable Swankok, what he did, he actually apologized and he said it will never happen again. I really want to ask the other members that what you have said and how you have guided, Mr. Speaker, we are colleagues, and let's remain colleagues. If you are coming to my constituency, kindly do be courteous and tell me that you'll be coming to the constituency. And no, or even come, Mr. Speaker, but don't abuse your fellow colleagues. Thanks, Mr. Speaker, and we are very much behind you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's hear the member for Kisumu West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Honorable John Olagoluoch, just 1 minute. We'll give you. On the matter raised by the Honorable Lilian Gogo, which also touched on the Honorable Wanga, please, members, don't make reference to it. The matter, I'm informed, has already been referred to the Powers and Privileges Committee. So let's allow the committee to do the matter. You've already reported, Honorable Wanga. I've been informed that you made a report, and no, there's no point of canvassing it here now, because if you do so, then there will be no need of us. No. You know, it's not going to be helpful. It's not going to be helpful, and because Honorable Wanga, I have been informed. I have been informed that actually you've already reported the matter. So yeah. So let's deal with it that way. Honorable Olagoluoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to join my colleagues in congratulating you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish we didn't have to trivialize your installation as an elder by Njuri Ncheke. Mr. Speaker, we are trivializing it by introducing partisan political issues into the matter and forgetting the major issue that your role now entails. Mr. Speaker, apart from Honorable Kamket, you join another team of elders, including myself, although I'm not a spokesman for our nation, but I'm an elder. Mr. Speaker, in this new role, your responsibility will now help us as a nation to talk in one voice, even if we have our own differences. And I wish to ask for God's blessing, Mr. Speaker, that in that new role, which is a demonstration of the way you have led this House so far, is a manifestation of your capacity to lead Mount Kenya, to join other Kenyans as one nation. Mr. Speaker, arising from what Honorable Wang, I don't want to comment on what Honorable Gogo has said, but Mr. Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, we had an ad hoc committee of people who are skilled in mediation and who would help members to reconcile with each other without this pouring out. In my humble view, Mr. Speaker, this pouring out on the floor of the House is a demonstration of the fact that we lack the skills to resolve those petty differences ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I wish we could all be as brief as the Honorable Olagoluoch. Member for Gilgil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join my colleagues in congratulating you, and I agree with the Honorable Olagoluoch that your coronation is actually a matter of national importance, and it should be given the time that it deserves because it's not a small issue. And the one thing I noted about it, Mr. Speaker, is that it was not controversial. You did not need to go at night. There is no one faction that, that denied it. It was unanimous. And I think that is very serious and very commendable. And Mr. Speaker, you know, being the number 3 in the leadership of this country, it is actually a symbol and it is a sign of what you need to do. And going forward, Mr. Speaker, I cannot see on Abu Jagagwa, we have a problem because for one reason that you and I know, we also own you as a part of us in Gilgil constituency. So you cannot be limited to Mbere or to Mount Kenya East. We expect that your tentacles will go to the Rift Valley and generally to the country because that is where you belong. Again, congratulations.
Deputy Speaker. Oh, gosh.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, I rise to congratulate you in your new role. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I can see you taking this role very quickly because even seeing, and you have ruled very correctly that we should not refer to any other issue other than this, even the issue between Honorable Dr. Gogo and the women representative for Homa Bay. I think it is coming to you more in terms of your new role even than you are being a speaker, because it's bringing people together, even bringing colleagues together. So, Mr. Speaker, having known you for a very long time, I know that is, in fact, something that is belated. It should have come a little earlier. The only thing is I would want to send some few members to go and consult the Nchurincheke for them to tell us whether when they gave you this role, they also allowed your deputy to deputize you so that he can handle the easiest, something I will not take now. But just also to confirm to you, Mr. Speaker, as I finish, that the allegation by the Honorable Member for Tiati, we also will need to still, look into it because coming from that particular region, I know the real elders, because Pokot are part of the larger Kalenjin community, is a group called the Miot. So it is definitely not the Honorable Member, the Honorable Kamket, who is at the head of that one. He must be in some small factional ones, which we don't have a problem because you being the overall head, you can accommodate even the smaller ones like that of Kamket. But if you want to deal with the real Rift Valley one, it is the Miot, Council of Elders, led by the retired Major Sei and others. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations once again.
Sorry, we took away the mic from Honorable Chieng. Please.
Thank you so Kaluma, shut up. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in a deeply divided country, in a country where no one knows whether you're going forward or backwards, it is so refreshing to know that one of us, because you're a member of this parliament, has been bestowed a very high honor in one very important region of this country. Mr. Speaker, on a weekend where it was discovered there's a cabal of civil servants that want to rob the handshake, Mr. Speaker, the job you've been given isn't light. And so as we congratulate you, we need you to know that you need to start running immediately. I don't know whether you're going to give Honorable Cheboy now the reins for the remaining term, but the work that you need to do with that position now is enormous. And we hope that Parliament can vote some resources to enable you to do that job so that you are able to unite this country. Because, Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with a situation where no one knows who the head of the Jubilee Party is, who the head of ODM is, who the head of which faction is. We are dealing with a situation where, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you need to unite these forces that are fighting, and we hope that you can use that position and your current position to ensure that this country is united. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, I wanted to just raise an issue of national importance, Mr. Speaker. It's a question I raised on this floor early June last year. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I was listening to news, and I heard the Minister for Interior. He spoke in Lingua, he spoke in Kisi, but I got a decision saying he was saying that they will push some reforms in this country, and whether people go to court or not, even if they're given beds to sleep in court, they will not obey court orders. He said that yesterday where he was in Kisi. Mr. Speaker, the issue I raised last year, Mr. Speaker, early June, and the answer has not been brought back to this House, is whether the government has a choice to respect court orders or not. Mr. Speaker, this House, and indeed all organs of government, can never act in vain. When this House pronounces itself on a matter, it's like a high court. It must be respected. When the judiciary acts, it can't act in vain, Mr. Speaker. And so the issue I raised last year, early June, was about 6 particular judgments that have been issued by the courts, but that had not been respected, Mr. Speaker. To date, no answer has been brought to this assembly on the floor by the committee concerned. I was sent a copy of the answer. I was not even asked to go to the committee to ask the question that I asked to the persons concerned, the AG and the rest, Mr. Speaker. And this goes on because this House has not put its feet down in as far as ensuring that, one, our own orders and resolutions are respected, and number two, that the orders given by the courts are respected by the government. And that's why this is not the first time Matiang'i has spoken about not being able to respect court orders. Mr. Speaker, this is the minister who some time back, lectured members of parliament when asked why Bigunda could not come back. So, Mr. Speaker, it's important that this House is able to put its feet on and tell the ministers that there are things they cannot say out there, however powerful they are. Mr. Speaker, as I finish, could I then request the committee concerned to bring to this House the response to the question I asked on the 3rd of June last year? Mr. Speaker, I thank you. The Committee of Legal and Justice Affairs, Mr. Speaker.
But if you asked it in June last year, and there's no response, and now we're in 2021, it means that it lapsed. Perhaps you may need Honorable Chieng, you may need to revive it.
Mr. Speaker, I stand guided.
Formally, so that at least, because see now, if it was a question or a request for a statement,
yes,
it lapsed with the last session. So perhaps you could just take advantage of the period we have so that you can revive it.
I stand guided, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Member for Kikuyu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hope you said member for Kikuyu, not Kikuyus, because the Kikuyus, Mr. Speaker, that I represent the people of Kikuyu constituency that is very cosmopolitan. And I know it could be a slip of the tongue to mention Kikuyus. But let me also join the rest of the House members, Honorable Speaker, to congratulate you on the role bestowed on you in the Njurincheke Shrine in Meru. And Honorable Speaker, as the Honorable Member for Rangwe has mentioned, Honorable Speaker, is only honorable for us as members of Parliament to be honorable to ourselves and to fellow members, including yourself, Honorable Speaker. And you will appreciate that the many members, including the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, who have congratulated you this afternoon, are not congratulating you because you have been named as a spokesman of a region. They are congratulating you because they respect you as Speaker and as a member of this House. Honorable Speaker, and they also respect you as an elder statesman in this country, Honorable Speaker, because holding the position you hold today as Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, is not mean feat. And therefore, I was rather shocked, Honorable Speaker, when immediately after your bestowment as a spokesman, when I heard about it, I never knew about it before, Honorable Speaker. And because I have no ill faith against anybody and any member of this House, Honorable Speaker, I appreciated that the people of Meru and the elders in Meru have seen something in you and decided to bestow you. And I know a week before, the elders from Embu had done the same. And I pray that the elders from the larger Mount Kenya region, the Kiama, will also do the same to you, Honorable Speaker, and we'll appreciate. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I would ask of all of us is to respect each other. I was rather taken aback, Honorable Speaker, when I saw one of the nominated members who ought to be an elder in our community, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know if the member, the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Honorable Commander, is here. Say some very disparaging things against you, not just in your position now as a spokesman of a region, but also as Speaker of this House, Honorable Speaker. The majority whip, the member for Ntonyiri, is it Igembe North, the Honorable Mauka Maore, said also very unpalatable things about you in a TV station, Honorable Speaker. And this is a behavior that we must condemn as a House, Mr. Speaker. We must respect you. Honorable Speaker, I am saying we must respect you as first as our leader in this House. Two, as a statesman who has served this country, even as a member of parliament, not seated where you are seated today, Honorable Speaker, but also sitting here representing the people of Siakago, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these members. I know Honorable Maoka Maore may take offense that he was not invited. And he said things that you are invited to a public rally. It was not a public rally. I know in our community, in the Meru community, in the Ayembu community, in the Ageko community, our Kiamas, our council of elders are not political affairs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, nobody should say that you are invited to address a political rally in Meru. I am sure if you wanted to address a political rally, you have the wherewithal to even mobilize more members of public to attend a political rally than some of these people who are calling you. No wonder some of them are representing, I don't know what interest in this house, nominated to represent a non-interest, Honorable Speaker. And they have the audacity to disrespect you. I want to take this opportunity to condemn them with the strongest words possible, Honorable Speaker. They must be ashamed of their... Honorable Speaker, it is indeed shameful, but I want to congratulate you and ask you, as a speaker, Honorable Speaker, sir, as an elder in this country, because you're of age to be an elder, Mr. Speaker. I know your children. Some of your children are as old as I am, and some older than me, Honorable Speaker. You are an elder, and you can speak on behalf of the people of Siakago, on behalf of the people of Embu, on behalf of the entire Mount Kenya region, and even for this country, Honorable Speaker, besides being a Speaker of the National Assembly. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker. The honor that you have been given by the Ayembu people, the Ameru people, Honorable Speaker, is good. But I want to beseech you. It is a small group of elders that have bestowed you with that respect to speak on behalf of the people. Honorable Speaker, those elders are representatives of people on the ground. I want to beseech you to become a spokesman of the people, a spokesman of the Hustler Nation people. Speak on behalf of the people, Honorable Speaker. Speak on behalf of those who have no voice. Speak on behalf of those who have no opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, you speak on behalf of those who have no voice to attend the Council of Elders meetings. Speak on behalf of those who are not able to attend this house. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, now I want to congratulate you and ask you, Honorable Speaker, that be firm, stand for the Hustler Nation.
Now, I think we need to have taken note of what was said by the member for Kisumu West. Let's make it brief. Honorable Fatuma Gendi.
Mr. Speaker, to close. I want to, so that we move from the politics, Mr. Speaker, yes, to the reality. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you, because you deserve that role, Mr. Speaker. As a first-timer, I've learned a lot from you. Humility, you're a humble person. You are indeed a judge. When we have Tanga in Kieleweke, you have been firm and you have been fair to us. And that is the leadership we want. And Mr. Speaker, I have no doubts that you are the one person that will going to unite this country. And Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to urge my colleagues, let's not politicize and insult each other. We need each other, and that is what you've taught us. If indeed we are good students, we shall learn from you the humility and the way you've been carrying your role as a speaker in this house, uniting members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. And again, yesterday being the International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker, as women of this country, and you now coming from Mount Kenya, we want also you to hold one of our own and put her in that table. And none other than Her Excellency Governor Anne Waiguru. That is the leader we have as women. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And take her to the enduring jackets, Mr. Speaker, for...
Well, Honorable Wanga, but honorable members, surely, we need to go to do business now.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, this is very important business. Congratulating you, Honorable Speaker, is very, very important business for the House. So, Honorable Speaker, because of your leadership that you have provided us, Honorable Speaker, you had a very, very difficult parliament in the last parliament. And that was where it was make or break. But you showed tolerance, you showed patience, you showed non-partisanship on many occasions. Even after we had many things and many people said, leave these ones out, you said this House is a house for all members. So, Honorable Speaker, what the Njuricheke have seen is a person who has grown. You have grown from serving in the judiciary for over 15 years. You have gone to Chicago, you have served them for 10 years. You served here as whip in the opposition. You served as chairman of the Public Investments Committee. You came and you have served as the Speaker of this House. You served as the chairman of the CMD. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if there's anyone with more experience, especially in the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, if there's anybody with huge amounts of experience, it is yourself. So, Honorable Speaker, your coronation and your installation is well deserved. So for that, we all rise to congratulate you from all angles and from every space that we look. Honorable Speaker, I served with you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. You are a man of integrity. And even at times when people expected that you do something out of this world, you always stood by your word and you put your foot down. So, Honorable Speaker, congratulations. Honorable Speaker, on the other matters that have been raised, I am a seasoned member of this House. You have made a ruling. I will hold on to that, and I will let your ruling on the matter prevail, Honorable Speaker, because you lead us and we follow in your leadership. However much I feel pressed to say something, I will hold myself back in honor of this House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanga, for maintaining that. Member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to join my colleagues in congratulating you for the coronation over the weekend. Honorable Speaker, may I declare that the shrine, the Njuricheke shrine, is my constituency. And Honorable Speaker, I was very happy to see the Njuricheke elders invite you. And most importantly, I would like to thank you, Honorable Speaker, for taking up the invitation. It is possible to be invited and then you don't go. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I would like to inform our members that Njuricheke is a long-lasting council of elders which has been there even before independence, and they take time to analyze before they take action. They are the ones who resolve very difficult problems of boundaries and many other problems, and they must have watched you over time, and they must have realized the kind of person you are. Honorable Speaker, this House is applauding you today because you are a very special man in this country. You have time for everyone, you are extremely patient, you take time to make decisions, and your decisions have been very well informed. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for taking up that position, and we support you as members of the Mount Kenya East. Thank you very much.
What's this? Member for Kisumu East.
Yes, Chairman. Honourable Speaker, sir, as the Chairman of the African Parliamentarians Against Corruption, and you, sir, are the President of the African Parliamentarians Africa and the Vice Chair of the World Global GOPAC. It is a great honor for us, sir, to be recognized that one of our leaders in the community and in the fight to corruption is also now the spokesman of a very solid leadership of Mount Kenya. There is nowhere in the world that people do not remember Mount Kenya for this fight against for fight of freedom. So, Honorable Speaker, sir, our President of APNAC Africa and the Vice President of GOPAC, we are proud of you and we give you our congratulations, and we are really honored to work with you. Thank you, sir.
Member from where?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise also to congratulate you, and to not only congratulate you, but also let you know that we are solidly behind you on this one. Honorable Speaker, those that have spoken before me have congratulated you in a good manner. Some have not understood what it means for you to be in the position you are in, and I want to let them know that leadership in our region traditionally is bottom up. You are recognized in your area, you are recognized in the next, until you become a leader of the whole region. Honorable Speaker, as an elder in the region, I saw it coming. You remember in the year 2018 when I went with you to Mwea, and I told you this is just a beginning. And it was a beginning of a journey that we are now seeing where it is going, Honorable Speaker. I want to let people know that when cultural groups like Jurin Jeke recognizes you, Honorable Speaker, and calls for a cultural ceremony, not a political ceremony, as many would want to convert it. It's to be taken seriously. It should not be taken lightly, because they have taken time to identify you among many. And when I reason to others who want to now think that you have been coronated to represent their interests, Honorable Speaker, I can only tell them that that is not the case. This is a serious issue. It's heading to a very serious situation where you will be a representative of a region, Honorable Speaker. And for those that they could invade the region without passing through some of our leaders like you, is a high time they start learning the signs that the region is now getting together. The region is now starting to be itself, and it's only fair for them to start preparing now. We are ready to talk to anyone. We are ready to discuss, but they should not politicize this particular issue. We know, Mr. Speaker, that we have the president, the party leader of Jubilee, who is the head of our region, and the party leader did say that slowly we will identify that person whom we work with, because in a family, a wise man of a family will always have a young one. And I dare say, Mr. Speaker, in our language in Kikuyu, we say, that means if there are no young ones, then that community perishes. We are seeing where we are heading. Let us not politicize it, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of respect to one another, I think it's a high time this House walks the talk. Mr. Speaker, we are now starting to see people who are going to other people's areas, constituencies, for example, and they hurl a lot of insults, Mr. Speaker. Such people, when we then come here and we are expected to sit, talk, and eat together, Mr. Speaker, I don't think it's fair. I say this because I know I have visitors coming to my constituency on Sunday. I went on air and said I welcome them. I'll be with them in church. But because they did not expect it, Mr. Speaker, they have now started converting that to mean that I'll be coming to bring conflict in church. Very unfortunate. And some of them are in this house right now. They were in air trying to attempt to say that an old man like myself can organize a gun. Shame unto them. Shame unto them. I'm an elder, Honorable Speaker, who cannot be drifted or dragged into such things. People are welcome. When I'm there, I'll be there as an elder. I'll be there as the MP from where? Representing 237,000 people. And when they start thinking that I can organize goons to now fight against them, too much, too unfortunate. Mr. Speaker,
please read us. Let people talk, walk the talk. When you are in media, when you are out there, be yourself. You are elected to represent people out there, and they are hearing. Like now, I know there are many people who are watching us, and they are listening to us. And they are listening to people when we are saying that you are there, you'll be representing so and so. This is not the case, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate you. We are behind you. We will be with you to the end. And we call upon those that are doubting to join us as we move this journey, as we walk this journey. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and God bless you, and bless you abundantly. Thank you.
Member von Liwa.
Mr. Speaker, the people of Ndewa salute you. It is not easy to be picked by elders. Mr. Speaker, you didn't come on a silver platter. You earned it. Before I joined this house, Mr. Speaker, I used to watch you. You survived all the sprinkling of water from Honorable Wanga to the Frimbi movement of Pio Wandai, and I could see how you handle it. So you have earned the respect, you have endured, and I think what is the most important thing with you is that your power is based on humility. And by that, you will go very far. Mr. Speaker, I don't have much but to congratulate you and say, may God bless you and your future be green as it is. Thank you.
Majority Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it would have been very unfortunate that you don't get congratulations from the Mlembe Nation. Honorable Speaker, on the onset, and on behalf of the great nation of the Mlembes, I want to congratulate you for your staunch coronation as the Njurinjega elder. Honorable Speaker, what has happened to you should be emulated across the country. The only way, Honorable Speaker, to resolve dispute among the communities is to have responsive people who can sit together and reason together in terms of their cultural and social well-being. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, by you being the chairman of in the council of the spokesperson of the Mount Kenya East, you have made it very easy that us people from the lower side of the soil will now be able to access the knowledge of the people from the mountain through a common direction, Honorable Speaker, that you can guide us and tell us that this is what is supposed to happen in terms of the mountain and their culture. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of the Mlembe Nation, once more, I congratulate you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for the Raka. Member for the Raka is not there. Oh.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is Honorable Wadhayu who distracted me trying to find out slightly more about Njurincheke. Mask. Thank you. I have my mask on now. Mr. Speaker, allow me kindly to congratulate you on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Tharaka, who are quite close to the Tigania and the Igembe, where Njurincheke is actually anchored. So, Speaker, Njurincheke is a revered institution, and I speak from being a member of that organization itself because I was initiated into it. I was not coronated. You were coronated. I was too junior possibly to be coronated, but I hope one day I will be coronated so that I can also step into your shoes when that time comes. Now, what we wish to tell you, Honorable Speaker, is that you now hold a revered position, a position which begins with Mount Kenya East, comes to the entire Mount Kenya region, and by extension, it goes to the entire country. Kenyans will be watching you because you've got to give them guidance and leadership in matters that are very difficult, in consonance with the practices, the norms and the practices of the Njuri, which include peacemaking, unity, and ensuring togetherness in communities. Therefore, as you move forward to step into those shoes, Honorable Speaker, you have to be prepared to discharge those duties. We know very well that in spite of the fact that there were no political overtones in the coronation, we have since then had many things being said about it, and that, oh, this is going to happen, that is not going to happen. But mine would be to advise you to be careful not to be yoked with some, whether presidential candidates or other persons who do not have a very bright future, especially in terms of the presidency. The reason being you are number 3, and Kenyans are looking forward to your promotion from number 3 to possibly number 2 or number 1. But that can only be a reality if we make the right choices and away from influences which actually are not, do not resonate with the will of the people. Let the will of the people of Kenya be upon you as you endeavor to move forward, to unite this country, and also to give us leadership. I congratulate you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh gosh, honourable members, I thought Member for Yatta.
Oh. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, where I come from, we have a custom of recognizing somebody's achievement when he's alive, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, many might not know, before you joined politics, you served 5 years as a principal magistrate. And within that profession as a principal magistrate, your colleagues saw you fit to serve as the chairman of the Judges and Magistrates Association. Mr. Speaker, in 1997, I believe, you tried your luck in politics, and you served in the 8th Parliament, and indeed I served with you in the 9th Parliament. And as a member of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, I can say you are among one of the best members of Parliament during that time, Mr. Speaker. Later on, Mr. Speaker, you have come here to serve as a Speaker, not only one term, second term, Mr. Speaker. And now, Mr. Speaker, that makes me start suspecting when you're in primary school, you must have been a monitor, and when you're in secondary school, you must have been a prefect, Mr. Speaker. That is for you to confirm. So, Mr. Speaker, as I congratulate you on your new achievement and your recognition by the Njuri Njeke, I want, Mr. Speaker, to appeal to members of Parliament. We all saw what happened in the 2 by-elections which took place. In fact, not the two for Parliament and the others for county assemblies, Mr. Speaker. I say so because we have a by-election coming up in Machakos. I need to remind members, and more so the new members, elections is only a democratic process. Do not go and fight the other members. Do not give goons money to attack other members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. I saw a member of Parliament here who belongs to, they say, the Tangatanga side, Mr. Speaker. That young member of Parliament was almost killed, Mr. Speaker. I might not belong to that side, Mr. Speaker, but, Mr. Speaker, it has been done by other members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And if members don't know, friendly fire kills, Mr. Speaker. They need to be advised. As you come to Machakos, we believe in fair, we believe in democracy. We believe if you want to come to Machakos, please come. But do not come with money to incite young men to beat up other youth or to attack other leaders, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, congratulations.
Honorable Mbarire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I must say that as a person coming from Embu County, I'm extremely delighted this afternoon listening to members from across political divides, from across the country, giving accolades to your coronation during the weekend, Mr. Speaker. And that only confirms the fact that you've been a leader that has provided leadership impartially, a leader that has respected members of Parliament, a leader that has given a fair playing ground for members of Parliament in this House. And so I really want to congratulate you and tell you, as a people of Embu, we are extremely proud of your leadership. We are even more proud that people from without Embu County have recognized you and seen it fit to coronate you as an elder and spokesperson for the region. And this is the first time, really, Mr. Speaker, that we, the people of Embu, are getting that kind of recognition, Mr. Speaker. We haven't seen this happen before, and so I must say that you've truly made the people of Embu County very proud, and we will support you in your future endeavors, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've had many people say a lot of good things about you, and I must say, having been a member of parliament, this being my 4th term, that indeed you've provided the right leadership at a very difficult time in the history of this country. Mr. Speaker, you have given every member a chance to see you in the offices. Mr. Speaker, right here in this chamber, I've seen you ensure that you take care of all the interests during debate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've also seen even moments when members are traveling and you have to make a choice of who goes and who doesn't, you always ensure you balance. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, you come out as a person who is above our political divides, who is above our tribal inclinations or political inclinations. And I want to say that this only shows that you are a leader capable of doing even better given a higher position going forward. And we support that. And I pray that there was some advice you were given earlier by a member of parliament who said that the decisions you make going forward will be very critical on your upward mobility, and we'll be looking closely at the decisions you make and looking forward to being part of that process, Mr. Speaker, as people of Embu County. Finally, Mr. Speaker, let me just say that I too participated in the by-elections that happened in the last 1 week, and I have never faced so much political violence in my life. I have been a politician for this long, but what I saw in Nakuru was very disheartening. And I really hope that going forward, number one, we will have an impartial security arm of this government that will be able to oversee peaceful and fair elections across the country without fear or favor, Mr. Speaker. Because the worst thing that can happen is when we civilians decide to go for each other and the people who are supposed to stop you are partisan, Mr. Speaker. So I really hope that we will not witness what I saw in Nakuru, where Honorable Nixon Koril was almost beaten up and killed by a gang of youth, Mr. Speaker, for no reason other than standing at a polling station as the chief agent of that polling station. And we should all be very, very worried as members of parliament with that kind of culture, because it means any of us can be a victim, Mr. Speaker. So we must all collectively condemn any act of violence that is politically instigated and ensure and insist on impartiality on the part of security organs to ensure that there's peaceful and fair elections that take place. And because there are more by-elections coming, I really want to beg that going forward, especially so, the National Government Administration and the IG, Inspector General, will ensure that never again will we see any form of violence in any election in this country, because we've come from a dark past of 2007, and we must never forget where we came from. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope you, as an elder, as a leader with a great future, will play your role in pushing for that kind of environment in our politics going forward, especially now, of course, you're seeing a lot of politics going on. With those many remarks, I beg to congratulate you and support the discussion.
Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Funyula, the great constituents of Funyula, we take this opportunity to congratulate you for your coronation as an elder of Nchurincheke. Indeed, that's a very big honor, and I trust you deserve to hold that position. And I hope, Honorable Speaker, you'll use that position to advance the ideals, virtues, and values of the people of Kenya collectively. Because Kenya is one undivided country, we should not descend to partisan and tribal cocoons that do not support the ideals of the people of Kenya. I hope and pray, Honorable Speaker, that will be a voice of reason, a bridge to unity, a bridge to prosperity, and a bridge to one indivisible Kenya. Honorable Speaker, there have been many people who have been appointed to the so-called councils of elders, and they simply turn out to become elders of hire. Indeed, now, Honorable Speaker, in this new political dispensation, one of the most lucrative business is to become an elder of hire. Today, you are hired to go and coronate this one. Tomorrow, you are hired to go and endorse this one. The other day, you are hired to go endorse this one. At that rate, Honorable Speaker, you embarrass and bring disrepute to the hosted position of a council of elder. I pray and hope you will make us proud, and those of us who are joining politics and probably who aspire to rise to such big positions will look upon you as a role model, and so that we do not feel embarrassed wherever you go. Honorable Speaker, you served us well in this House, and you will continue serving us. In your long history, Honorable Speaker, we wish, as you go, you also continue to mentor others. The many years you served in Western Kenya in various capacities in the judiciary are well noted. The only regrettable part, Honorable Speaker, on a lighter note, I walk around and I see no photocopy of yours in the entire Western region. We hope one day you will go back and fulfill your noble duty of spreading the good seeds that have brought you to that level, so that there are people who would also come after you. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, we are honorable members of parliament, and I'm here to address my colleagues. We belong to different political positions, political persuasions, but ultimately and finally, we are members of the National Assembly. We deserve to respect each other in whichever circumstances. I will never go to any constituency and insult anybody. I hope those who go on roaming and moving people at the members' constituencies will also do the same. It's so unfortunate to come to somebody's constituency or mine and insult me and expect me to keep quiet. When we are outside there, we'll deal with you squarely and perpendicularly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Mosop.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Nachukua nafasi hii pia kwa niaba ya jamii ya Nandi na constituency ama kata ambayo mimi nasimamia Mosop, kukupongeza sana Bwana Spika, kwa sababu kupewa heshima kubwa na jamii yako kuwa kiongozi si kitu rahisi. Sisi kama jamii ya Nandi tuko na wazee kama hao. Hivi majuzi mliona kwamba tulipeana pia nafasi kwa viongozi wengine kubarikiwa, na mimi nakwambia kwamba jamii yetu pia itakuunga mkono, kwa sababu wewe ndiye baadhi ya wale wazee ambao tunasema mwajamila ni mtumwa, kwa sababu ya mila zetu na taratibu zetu kama jamii, na jamii ambao unatoka wewe mwenyewe wameona kwamba unafaa. Sisi tunakuunga mkono na tunakuomba kwamba tumia nafasi hiyo kama balozi wa amani, kwa sababu taajibika jakuwa wakili, umekuwa hakimu, umekuwa mwanasiasa, lakini sasa wewe ndiye unasimamia kiti cha spika katika jamii. Wale viongozi wote walio juu yetu, awe rais, awe naibu wake, awe viongozi ambao ni wapinzani, wote mmetangamana kwa njia moja ama nyingine. Tunakuomba kwamba kwa karne hii uwe kiongozi yenye matumaini kwetu na kwa Wakenya, kwamba kwa wakati wote, wakati heshima ya wazee inavyotakana ama mashauri, uwe mmoja wao. Tunakuunga mkono kama wabunge, uendelee mbele kuweka nyumba hii ya bunge kuwa nyumba ya heshima, na naomba na kusihi viongozi wenzangu kwamba sisi ni mfano mwema ambao wananchi kule nje wanaiga. Tujipe heshima, kwa sababu heshima haitatoka kule nje kama sisi wenyewe hatujiheshimu wewe wenyewe. Bwana Spika, nikimalizia, nashukuru kwa sababu imekuja kwa wakati mzuri kwamba nchi hii inaenda kutafuta uongozi ya rais ya 5. Tumia nafasi hiyo ukiangalia kwa macho yako kwa upefu na kwa makini, hili kiti ambacho utakachokilenga iwe kiti ambacho kitakuunga sisi wote. Ya mwisho ni kwamba kama unaweza kuweza wanasiasa, ni nani mgumu kuliko mwanasiasa? Na wewe ndio mwanasiasa mkuu. Na ya kufurahisha zaidi na kutamausha ni kwamba unaelewa sheria za nchi hii, na wewe ndiye uliyeweka kidole chako na bongo lako pale. Tunakuomba usimame imara. Viongozi ambao wako hapa na wala ambao wako nje na wananchi wa Kenya wanategemea wewe na sisi viongozi hapa tutoe maamuzi na mwelekeo, hasa kwa wakati huu ambao kuna manunguniko hapa na pale ya katiba ambayo inatazamiwa kubadilishwa na wengine wanaona kwamba haifai. Tungepewa nafasi sisi kama viongozi tuchangie, kwa sababu kwa mamoja tutakuwa pamoja, na kwa uongozi wako tutakuwa na baraka. Mungu akusidie neema na akube ubora wa afya na upefu mwingi wa fikra na mawazo. Asante sana.
Member for Shinyalu.
Bwana Spika, japo kwamba wengi wamekutolea kongole katika lugha ya Kiingereza, na mimi ningependa vile vile kuongeza pale sauti yangu nikisema kwamba nakupa pongezi kwa niaba ya watu wangu wa Shinyalu, na kongole pia kwa sababu wewe kutunikiwa nafasi hiyo ambayo ni muhimu katika jamii zetu. Na swala la mno ni kwamba wewe mwenyewe kama vile unatukalia hapa kama kinara, unafanya kazi yako sawa sawa. Wewe una maingiliano mazuri na wajumbe hawa, na mimi kama mjumbe ambaye nimekuweka hapa awali pia nimeona speaker wengi katika ukikalia mahali ulipo, lakini kwa sasa wewe ndio mufti na bora zaidi, kwa sababu umeweza kutoa ule ubabe pale. Kuna wale wengine wanakaa pale na ubabe, lakini wewe umekuwa ni mtu mvumilivu, mtu mzuri, maingiliano mazuri na wabunge, na pia tunakaa mahali pamoja na tunakula pamoja na tunazungumza pamoja. Na hiyo ndio swala ambalo nataka kuambia kwamba huo ndio uongozi, na swala hilo ndilo ambalo limekupa kipaumbele. Watu wale kwenu wakakuona kwamba wewe watosha, na mimi najua kwamba hata sisi katika mkoa wa Magharibi tunakutambua. Umefanya kazi mahala kwingi katika ule uitifaki wako wa kutarazaki katika masuala ya kisheria. Tumekuona kule kwetu umefanya kazi nzuri, japo kwamba kama ilivyosemekana kule labda mambo yapo, lakini tunajua kwamba pia wewe si mchache katika maingiliano na watu. Kwa hivyo sisi tunakusifu na tunakutakia kila laheri, kwa sababu wale watu wa mlima, upande wa mlima hawakukosea, kwa sababu wewe mwenyewe umejaa tajiriba na vile vile una ukiritimba mkubwa sana katika masuala ya kisheria, masuala ya mambo haya kanuni za kudumu na kadhalika. Tukirudi katika bunge, wewe umeleta mabadiliko mengi sana katika bunge hili. Tumeona kanuni za kudumu zimekuja katika Kiswahili. Tunaweza kuzungumza katika Kiswahili kwenye bunge. Tunaweza hata tumewapika wale wenzetu wale wa Tanzania. Kama unavyojua kwamba Kiswahili cha Kenya ndio cha kustandard mkubwa, na wewe umetusaidia sana hapo na tumefurahia, kwa sababu tuna ule ustandard sasa. Tunaweza kuzungumza Kiswahili hapa, tunaweza kusoma mambo mengi katika kanuni za kudumu. Kwa hiyo nataka kusema heko, kongole, na hata nikienda kule kwetu nitaweza kuwauliza wale wengine ambao ni wenzetu waweze kuiga mfano wako, na hata sisi tukija kule janibu zile za mlima tutaweza pia kuja kule tumwambie pia baba wa kwetu ambaye tunamjua ule ndio kiongozi wetu kule kwingine, tumwambie ukienda kule ujue kwamba kuna kigogo, na kigogo huyo anaitwa Bwana Muturi. Kwa hivyo nasema baba Raila Odinga, sijasema Musalia mimi. Kwa hivyo nimesema wakati ule ukifika tutakuja kule pia tuweze tukuombe wewe, tukuambie bana tutembee pamoja. Na tunafurahia kwa sababu tunaona viongozi wanaibuka, na wewe ndio wale viongozi ambao wapya, viongozi wana mapinduzi, ambao wana mawazo mapya ambayo yaweza kutusukumiza tuende mbele. Kwa hiyo nataka kusema heko, na mimi naunga wote wale mkono kwamba wafaa zaidi, na kama kuna nafasi pale mbele Usikawie bana. Nenda kule kwa sababu tunajua kwamba wewe ni wetu. Shukran.
Now, honor members, I appreciate, but can we close? Can we let's hear the member for Saboti, Honorable Caleb Amisi. Is that all? Can we take then
not,
1 minute,
thank
1
you.
minute so that we can? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I equally join my colleagues in expressing my profound praise for your recent coronation. On my behalf, on the behalf of the people of Saboti, and indeed on behalf of the young people of this country that we represent here. I think nobody has represented the young people. I also stand to praise you on behalf of the young people of this country for a successful event. Mr. Speaker, the event of coronation of Njuri Njeke is very peculiar. In fact, when I was observing it, I tend to think that this country is not mature for democracy. Because you look at such events could have given us better leaders than the democracy we suffocate this country to. And indeed, it is actually the democracy that has fires up tribalism. If events like this could be used to produce leaders, to sit at the helm of this country, I think it will be a very peaceful country. Because you compare the events of the Njuri Njeke, Mr. Speaker, you will not see chaos, you will not see violence. There is no even police present, no 2 million was stolen, no IBC clerk was chased away. The event was so peaceful. There was no cacophony of tribalism. There was absolutely nobody was arrested, no tear gas. And you can see the people's representatives are all in praise. There is no petition against you. So these are some of the events that actually can be used to give us leaders, instead of taking this country into democratic process. And the democracy has not always provided the best leaders. Good leaders like you, if subjected to democracy, you don't make it. So these are some of the events that we should maybe going forward. I don't think our country was mature for democracy. These are events that should be used to give us leaders. In the meantime, as we slowly mature democratically. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Mbeere South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me add my voice also to congratulate you for your recognition by the Council of Elders of Njuri Njeke at Njiru. Honorable Speaker, what the members do not know is that long before you went to Njiru, in the shadows of Mount Kiang'ombe, in Kanywambora, the Council of Elders of Mbeere, known as Gome, had already met and decided that our son is now mature, is now ready to move out and face the world. And they give you their blessings. Mr. Speaker, so I stand here as a Mubere, very proud, and I know this afternoon all Mberes are very proud to see you being recognized way beyond the boundaries of Mbeere. And Mr. Speaker, I have watched this house, and we've received accolades from literally everybody, both sides of the divide. People who do not agree, today they have agreed that surely your leadership has been recognized. I fear, Mr. Speaker, that moving forward, that there will be many factions that will be approaching you. And I've heard the honorable member for Honorable Kamket already inviting you to some grouping. But Mr. Speaker, we are not giving you accolades because you are in some grouping. We are giving accolades because you refused to be in the groupings and became neutral and became the speaker of all. When we disagree, we come to you. So I hope and I pray, Mr. Speaker, that moving forward, as Kenyans are watching, Mr. Speaker, the reaction that we're seeing from this House is the reactions of Kenya. They are watching. They are feeling what you're feeling. They have watched throughout your tenure as a Speaker, and they know they can trust you. My prayer is that, Mr. Speaker, that you not fall into a trap of going to some partisan groupings and then joining our fights. I hope you stand as a true elder and be the arbitrator in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, Kenya is very apprehensive right now as we speak. They are not sure where us as leaders we are leading them to. They are wondering what will come of next year, 2022. It is only a character than yours that can calm the nerves, that can give people hope. And I pray and I hope that, Mr. Speaker, moving forward, now that you've been blessed by the Beres, you've been blessed by your people of Embu, you have been blessed by Mount Kenya East, that wave will continue all the way to Turkana and to the coast. And that finally, Kenya will find somebody that they can rally around. With those few words, I congratulate you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Member for Kitui Central.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also join colleagues in saying congratulations to you. Honorable Speaker, we have a lot of people can say congratulations on their behalf. We start with the Kitui Central people. Honorable Speaker, all our members are aware that Africa Region, CPA, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, you're already the president. So even people out there have already confirmed that you are up to that level. And we just want to say, Honorable Speaker, this honor is a great honor to you, and also a great honor to us who are in this parliament, because you are one of us. Honorable Speaker, I'm sure we are all looking forward to you, and I'm sure in this country, as we are talking today, no other leader would get the kind of congratulations we are getting from all corners of this country. If it was another leader, you hear this region saying no, another region saying, and it was very clear when some of us started going to those small groupings. You could hear people shouting, saying that even the leader you are saying is the leader is not getting the kind of support you are getting in this house. And this is because of your experience, Honorable Speaker. Since I joined this house, most of us have been looking up to you in terms of how to conduct business, how to carry ourselves around so that you earn respect from our colleagues. And I only want to encourage, Honorable Speaker, those new members of parliament who joined this parliament, and I think this was said by other members, that when they go down there to other people's constituencies, Honorable Speaker, you know, Honorable Speaker, it's very wrong you come to Kitui Central, and you know I'm the leader there, and you start pretending there is no leader elected, and you are elected from somewhere else. So even as we go around, honorable members, it's important that when you get to your colleagues' constituency, please, respect the fact that he's elected. He can't be the member of parliament if he was not elected like you. But not the problem, Honorable Speaker. Some of these honorable members come to your constituency and they want to behave as if you never went through the process of being voted for. So, Honorable Speaker, I really want to say congratulations to you, and I know you, and I wish you well, and I'm sure us who are in the family of CPA, we are wishing you well, and look forward to one day, you know, that being the president of Africa, CPA Executive Committee, you'll be the president of Kenya. Thank you very much.
Oh gosh. A minute, please. I'm looking at the interventions, and there are so many members. I think member for Borabu, Bomachoge, Borabu. The one that appears on top.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance also to join my colleagues. Congratulate you for getting that high. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that it takes many factors for someone to be identified as a leader in every aspect of his life. I want to begin by congratulating the elders who gave you, who installed you into the new position. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that if I had also the opportunity to be in that team, I would have also put my weight behind you. Having been in this House for more than 3 years now, Mr. Speaker, I want to confidently say that you deserve that new role. Mr. Speaker, it takes a lot of courage here to be able to mix this kind of House, to produce a new product, either in a form of a legislation or reaching a consensus for that matter. I want to believe that the elders have made a new mark in your life. I want to believe that they have given you a new blessing in your life. I want to believe that I've listened to this House and their voices also point that direction. So, Speaker, I want to congratulate you and pray that God can give you the vision that this country needs through your guidance. That you continue to serve this country diligently, without discrimination, without fear of ever. May God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on behalf of people of Bomachogo Borabu, I want to assume that a new chapter will shine in your life. May God bless you.
Thank you. Member for Nandi.
Honorable Speaker, I want to join the other members in congratulating you. I want to say the following. You are neutral and candid in your leadership. You are full of wisdom. You are charismatic. You are a father figure. And you are a voice of reason. May God bless you. May God use you in your new leadership. May He open doors where no man can shut in Jesus' name.
Member for Kiharu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise also to congratulate you following the coronation. And Mr. Speaker, many members may not know that Kiharu constituency is home to the origin of Gikuyu and Mobi, a place called Mukuru and Nyagadanga. And Mr. Speaker, therefore, by inference, I can therefore say that I am a member of Parliament for the Kikuyu community, Mr. Speaker. And having said that, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate you following the coronation. And Mr. Speaker, even in the pecking orders in this country, currently you are number 3. From Mr. President to the Deputy President, and Mr. Speaker, the other most powerful person in terms of the pecking order is none other than Honorable J.B. Muturi. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, what the elders did, Mr. Speaker, is very commendable. Mr. Speaker, you are very astute, and I can say that as a young politician and as a young person, I actually look up to you, Mr. Speaker. I have studied your history, I have seen the journey you've traveled, and Mr. Speaker, it is enviable. Mr. Speaker, I may not be the right person to advise you, but I have to say that humanity, and even us as politicians, we are progressive, Mr. Speaker. We are not static. Mr. Speaker, we always look forward to the progress. And Mr. Speaker, now that you have been coronated, Mr. Speaker, you cannot afford now to rest. You have to aim higher. And there are only 2 other positions remaining, Mr. Speaker, in terms of even the pecking orders. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, now that you are the spokesperson of the entire region, and Mr. Speaker, now you are the Speaker of the National Assembly, you can only go higher to either the Deputy President or the President himself. And having studied your history, Mr. Speaker, I can tell that you've come from very far. You've come from very far and risen to the position that you occupy. And Mr. Speaker, I am sure you know the hassles of the ordinary Kenyans, and you understand the problems of the ordinary Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am sure even as you look around, and even when you go to Embu over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, I am sure you can tell where the region and the country is facing. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, my advice also as a politician, albeit young, is that follow the people, join where they are, and I can see you that you have the abilities and you have what it takes to be even the Deputy President of Kenya from 2022, and of course when you follow where the people are. And I am sure, without clarifying, because you go to Webu more often than not. I am sure you already know where the people of the region are. Mr. Speaker, also, I have to say that this was a wake-up call to all of us, that this country, the way the fabric of our nation is, that we are now running away from the politics of big names, because, Mr. Speaker, having studied even your family, I am sure you are the only person, or you are the first person to rise to the position that you occupy. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I know for sure that you are not resting where you are looking forward, and we are with you, and I congratulate you, Mr. Speaker. But the point I had, Mr. Speaker, is that this country, because we are moving away from big names and big families, Mr. Speaker, and now going to meritocracy. When you look and evaluate the merit of the leaders we have and the caliber of leaders we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, when you evaluate them on the basis of merit, Mr. Speaker, I am sure you are ahead of the pack. And I want to also request, because in our region, Mr. Speaker, and we have to say plainly that we now have an outgoing president from our region. And Mr. Speaker, I am sure our president, as he moves to other phase of his life, Mr. Speaker, we also need a person of your caliber, a person evaluated on the basis of merit, and a person who actually understands the problems and the issues of our region. And Mr. Speaker, looking around in terms of merit, putting you on the scale comparatively with all the other people who are looking to the kind of position that you occupy, Mr. Speaker, there is no one who can even come close to where you are. As my mentor, as our speaker, and as our leader, I am proud of you. Congratulations, Mr. Speaker, J.B. Muturi, the spokesperson of the Mount Kenya region.
Now, honourable members, is it not possible we can, I appreciate, honourable members, but I'm just, I can see there are quite, you know, we still have a lot of other requests, but now I'm being told wamama wako hapa. This year now, then the wamama. Nairobi. Honorable Mushomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the elder who is now the bestowed the honor to be the elder of Njorinjeke, the men that have the elderly respect from the community from the Mount Kenya region. As a woman leader, I must say, this did not just come as a mistake. The elders must have sat down, they must have evaluated and re-evaluated you from when you started being in the public limelight to where you are today. Mr. Speaker, we are used to negative news covering members of parliament over the weekends. On our screens, we see members of parliament chasing each other in funerals, in burials. We see negative news concerning members of parliament wanting to be the first ones to be vaccinated about COVID, which is not true, and such like negative news. But you gave us the best piece of news over the weekend. We saw you walk in honor and pride, representing the great men of Mount Kenya in that event. No heckling, no stone throwing, no police in sight. A well-managed, calm event you held. That tells us who you are. It tells us you are a sober leader, a contained leader, a man of respect. The only thing, Mr. Speaker, is that I looked around and I didn't see women of the Mount Kenya in the event. So I'm hoping that, Mr. Speaker, soon you're going to collect yourself and host the women readers, the Nyakenyuas, so that we can bring you the blessed porridge, so that you can now ably represent the great people of Mount Kenya. And when I say Mount Kenya, it's not only Mount Kenya East, because I've heard some members say Mount Kenya East. We are talking about Mount Kenya because you are the son of the mountain. Well done, Mr. Speaker. You are now the elder, the very great elder that will bring soberness in the Kenyan political topography, and Kenyan political arena. How I look forward for the day we shall hold by elections without the fracas that we saw over the weekend. Mr. Speaker, as a leader, I felt quite pain when I saw a woman being frog-marched by men in the name of an IEBC officer. It doesn't matter what side of a divide you stand for when it comes to politics, but we should respect humanity. We cannot allow to be seeing such kind of scenarios when the police are watching. Where were the police when the woman was being frog-marched by people? It doesn't matter what she was carrying. There are court of laws in this country where such a woman, if she was on the wrong, should be taken. But we cannot stand and watch that kind of a scenario in our political arena. So, Mr. Speaker, we look up to you. We see you as a man of very little words, but serious impact when it means to creating soberness in the event of such nature. We look forward to seeing you move forward. And just to let you know, Mr. Speaker, I always love this phrase that says, victory is always possible for the person who refused to stop the fight. Don't stop the fight. Stand there. We look up to you. You are our mentor, and we are with you. Thank you and congratulations, Mr. Speaker.
So honourable members, now what do I do? Do I? Because now I can see it. The International Women's Day, Honourable Millie, was yesterday, wasn't it? Member for Pokot South.
We can transfer to today.
Honourable Speaker, I thank you for giving me this chance to join my colleagues in appreciating what the nature did to you, Honourable Speaker. I call it nature. Because, Honourable Speaker, communities have their own way of appreciating their sons. Even for us in Pokot and the entire world, even Europeans and whites, or Chinese or Indians, they have a way, Honourable Speaker, of appreciating their sons. And therefore, Honourable Speaker, allow me to join my colleagues in appreciating nature that was done to you. Honourable Speaker, you deserve it. You know you deserve it, Honourable Speaker. And that's not even the debate. Because, Honourable Speaker, some of us who are lucky to be here second time, last parliament here, we were here, Honourable Speaker, in 11th parliament, and God has blessed us with our people to come back. Honourable Speaker, for us who are there in that last parliament, that is when Honourable Justin or J.B. Muturi actually came out. Your leadership, Honourable Speaker, came out in last parliament. It might be easy to say, to be honest. This 12th parliament might have been very easy for you. It's true. Maybe it was held by handshake or something. Maybe something natural happened. That this parliament, Honourable Speaker, is easy to manage. Last parliament was so difficult, Honourable Speaker. But even with those difficulties, you produced results that were required to be done for the people of Kenya. I want to tell you this, the truth, Honourable Speaker. You stood your ground. You managed that kind of division that was in this country in the 11th parliament. And everybody liked you. Whether they are on the other side or this side, everybody liked you, Honourable Speaker. And that is why even the people at home like also you, Honourable Speaker. So it's natural. And we agree, Honourable Speaker. You have even extended that assistance of yours, not only in Mount Kenya, even in Pokot, Honourable Speaker. I want to attest that if you have to come today to Pokot, we'll also make you an elder. Not only my colleague, Honourable Kamket, which I will say in a minute. Honourable Kamket cannot be an elder, Honourable Speaker, when I'm here. No, he can't be. But before that, Honourable Speaker, you are a person with heart to extend all over the country. You have been to Pokot, where even people maybe in Chicago don't even know where is Pokot. I want to tell them, Honourable Speaker, you came and helped our people. And our people, even when they're hearing, it was going to be wrong, Honourable Speaker, if I don't speak. Because outside the entire place you have been in remote places, which is border to Uganda, which is our home, Honourable Speaker. And therefore you deserve them. You deserve it, Honourable Speaker. And we wish you well. And when things like that happen, you know, it doesn't happen for nothing. It happens for a reason. God knows something that is coming, will be pushing you towards where Kenyans want you to go, Honourable Speaker. So, what I will only add as a human being is to take that honor with a lot of humility, Honourable Speaker. And the sky will be the limit. As I conclude, Honourable Speaker, you know, my community was mentioned adversely that my friend, Honourable Kamket, was installed spokesman of the Pokot Nation. Of course, That cannot happen. You know, Honorable Speaker, it cannot happen like that. It cannot happen like that. You know, Honorable Speaker, for somebody to be installed like you, how many years did it take you to be there? You are a judge. You were elected in Parliament. You became chair of PIC. You became chair of parliamentary caucuses. You became CMD. You became Speaker. Not only once, twice, Honorable Speaker. My colleague, my friend, my mono, Honorable Kamkid. There's never been anything, Honorable Speaker. So how can he claim to be installed? Honorable Speaker, you know what I'm referred to. I don't want to say it, dear Honorable Speaker. And you know the people who refer me. But I'm humble, Honorable Speaker. But I don't claim and just stand on top of roofs and speak the way. I'll tell you, the Speaker, leadership is earned. And my colleague, Honorable Kamkid, in Parliament, for example, he was to give eldership in Parliament as Pokot people. We would have given Honorable Moroto because he's having his fourth time. I am the second Honorable Speaker. How can a mono talk when I'm around? Where? That's why he has gone, Honorable Speaker, because he knows I was going to speak. And he got some few people who we called elders, maybe somewhere in Tiati. Tiati, Honorable Speaker, is one constituency in Baringo County. So if you become a spokesman, you're a spokesman of one constituency. West Pokot County is more than that, four constituencies. That is where the original spokesman should come from, Honorable Speaker, not my colleague. But anyway, I wish him well. It's good to be ambitious. But I'll advise him, Honorable Speaker, this afternoon to come to your office tomorrow so that you can guide him on how to become a real elder, how to become a trusted elder. And it comes slowly. It's not, how old is Kamkid? And he needs to be 70 years. In Pokot, when you are 70 years, is when you become a spokesman. Not less than that. Maybe a spokesman of some people who are going to be circumcised, but not a spokesman of a community like you have been bestowed, Honorable Speaker. You are the right, even if it was going to be in Pokot. You will be actually the spokesman even in Pokot. Not small people who are monos, who have not even finished first term. Let him first of all finish first term. He comes to you and us, then we learn. But Honorable Speaker, I thank you. And God will bless you, Honorable Speaker. You're going far. You're going far, my brother. Humble yourself before God, and God will bestow you what you don't know. Amen. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Nambale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me add my voice. Let me add my voice to those who have wished you well in your new appointment. I think it will be a challenging appointment. You'll use soft power. You're not going to use the power of the law or the power of our standing orders. You're going to go deep into traditional and past find examples. But I am sure that you're going to use a part of your brain that's not what you've been using, either on the bench or in this house. And that part is going to be very useful in the next segment of this parliament, where we are going, where I think that contention is going to be the order of the day, grandstanding is going to be the order of the day, and truth sometimes will be lost in between. Now, with that appointment, you have, I think, to marshal all those faculties, bring them together, and I think they are certainly going to be extremely timely where we are headed. And I'm sure that you're up to the task. So I really wish you well in that discharge. The second thing, to be quite brief, I want to add my voice of congratulations to Honorable Kalasinga for being a member of Parliament of this National Assembly. I'll say the other bit when that next member of Parliament comes. I think this has been a momentous weekend, but I would like to urge my fellow colleagues that the fault is not only a fault when you see others. See yourself. We are part of the problem of violence in elections. So I think that we ought to be honest with ourselves. We ought to set a standard devoid of what we want to think. We are thinking inside, and let's hope that that standard, objective enough, can be followed, including by all of us. With those few remarks, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Turkana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The great people of Turkana County cannot be left behind in celebrating this extraordinary, inordinate achievement. I wish to congratulate you on this. Honorable Speaker, my colleagues have really poured a lot of accolades, and I don't want to repeat that. But what really mesmerizes and fascinates me about you is your mastery of the law, both Kenyan and international, your neutrality, objectivity and impartiality, in handling political issues and even here in the House, and most importantly, your humility. Some of us are following in your footsteps in learning some of these values. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Honorable Guna. Give him this one.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, elders have spoken. People have spoken through their representative in the National Assembly. God has spoken. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of myself, the people of Mwingi West, and my family, let me take this opportunity to say congratulations to you. When I met you the first time, you spoke me in Kamba, and I was really moved, Mr. Speaker. I saw a person with great sense of humility, great sense of leadership. Mr. Speaker, I am only wishing 2022, which is a political year, God will reward you. And if so, I would wish you to even climb from position 3 to 1 or 2. Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking this from my heart. Thank you so much. You have shown to this nation you can rise beyond tribes. You can transit beyond regions. Mr. Speaker, you have demonstrated that. And on behalf of people of Mwingi West, which are your neighbor, I say congratulations. God bless you, and God see you through this promotion you've really been given by the elders. Thank you.
Member for Dagoretti South.
Mr. Speaker, we celebrate you, and I do stand to thank you for taking up the position that was bestowed to you by the very esteemed Njuri Ncheke over the weekend, Mr. Speaker. It is great to note that a man from a very dusty village somewhere in Embu can actually rise to the position that you have risen to in your life, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a story that gives hope to very many young people who begin from nowhere, Mr. Speaker. I know your story. I know about you going to school without shoes, Mr. Speaker, as a young boy. I know your ambition, Mr. Speaker, that saw you rising to become one of the finest legal minds in your time, Mr. Speaker. You had the opportunity to serve this country as a very good judicial officer, a magistrate and a judge, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity to witness as a young man how you ran campaigns and ran and won a seat to come to this house, Mr. Speaker, and how well you served your people as a member of parliament. Mr. Speaker, in your downtime, when you left this house, I had the opportunity of being under your chairmanship at the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, Mr. Speaker, where you encouraged us as very young members of political parties back then to take up the mantle and take up the mission of changing this country, Mr. Speaker. It was under your watch, Mr. Speaker, that we were able to form the Inter-Party Youth Leaders Forum, the first of its kind. It was bipartisan, Mr. Speaker. I was the president of the Orange Democratic Movement Youth League then, Mr. Speaker. And you would say to me that PNU only differs with ODM on ideology, but we are all Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. And we celebrate that you are able to bring young people together under the forum of the IPYLF, some of who are now serving as members of parliament here today because of your able leadership at CMD, Mr. Speaker. Your performance in this house, Mr. Speaker, has been stellar. You're one of the people that can be celebrated to be a peacemaker in this country, Mr. Speaker. And these are the things that the Njuri Ncheke must have seen when they were picking an individual of your caliber to be decorated as the one and single spokesman of the region, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at a time like this country needs tolerance. It is intolerance that leads to the violence that we witnessed last week, Mr. Speaker. I, having previously been a victim of election violence, I know how we operate in this country. That when there is an election or a by-election in this country, Mr. Speaker, we suspend all laws. We even suspend the Constitution to the extent that political violence is no longer seen as violence, Mr. Speaker. You have also been a victim of political violence, Mr. Speaker. While presiding over a session of this parliament, Mr. Speaker, and I know the Honorable Moses Kuria can bear me witness because he was present in that session, you are a victim of political violence, Mr. Speaker. But your tolerance, Mr. Speaker, I believe is what has made you rise above the fray to become the leader that you have become, Mr. Speaker. I believe in the theory of political science that talks about the horseshoe theory, Mr. Speaker, that people from opposing sides might end up meeting because they are not people from two extreme sides of the median, but they are in fact people who have an interest that can converge at a place, Mr. Speaker. And you are one of those people who walk on the middle of the road and are bipartisan, and I do believe that that is why the Nchuri Njeke were able to identify you as one exemplary leader in this country, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to say, Mr. Speaker, that what we witnessed over the weekend was a lesson to those of us who are in politics, Mr. Speaker, that organic leadership in this country can actually work better at times than even democracy, Mr. Speaker. Organic leadership is not bought. It calls for persuasion. It calls for consensus. Organic leadership does not go for coercion, does not go for violence. So, Mr. Speaker, when we observed that very beautiful event over the weekend, we are people who took out something that we can apply in our politics, even as we go back to the constituencies, Mr. Speaker. That a rally can be held peacefully. That a rally does not need to be interrupted by police, Mr. Speaker. That administration officers have no business whatsoever meddling in politics, as we saw last week, Mr. Speaker, as we were conducting the by-elections, Mr. Speaker. That politics can actually be done to achieve a consensus, even of two opposing points, Mr. Speaker. But my reason for rising, Mr. Speaker, was to congratulate you and thank you for the amazing leadership that you have given in this House and the hope that you have given to the future of this country, up to and including that young boy in Embu today, who is what you were many decades ago, who saw what happened in Meru and believes that even to them, one day, they can be decorated as you were decorated by the Nchuri Njeke. You gave hope to the hustler nation of this country, Mr. Speaker, in your coronation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yusuf Halima.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me join my colleagues in congratulating you for your coronation over the weekend at the Nchuri Njeke grounds in Meru County. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, and as a woman, I'm very lucky because the late Mwiraria happened to have introduced me to what they call Njori, Nyombachi Anjuri, Njori houses. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I know the seriousness in which our community takes your coronation. Your installation was very timely, Honorable Speaker, and I have talked to several elders, and most of them are very confident. They had really vetted you, Honorable Speaker, and they are sure that you're the right person for the position. Another thing, Honorable Speaker, it is time that our senior brothers, that is the entire Mount Kenya, our senior elders, elder brothers, we have supported them for years. Therefore, it is time they also supported us from the Mount Kenya East, so that when there is another position, the next position should come to us, and that is through you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, and as I have spoken to several elders in Meru, I know that they are very confident of you because they ask us about you, and we are happy that, like I say, You are a very humorous person. You are respectable. And you're likable also, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy because I know there are other leaders who would have taken this position. But among them all, Honorable Speaker, the elders decided, they sat down, they looked at them, and it was decided that it is you. You fit the position, we are happy, and we will support you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Member for Uriri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was away earlier, and I said on such a day I would not miss. Mr. Speaker, speaking as a first-timer, I remember the first time when we met, when I came to your office, one of the things you told me is that fidelity to your political party is a very critical thing. And you told me of your history in KANU, including the days when the Rainbow Coalition was sweeping across the country. And I remember you telling me when Raila came with his entourage, with loud music, you ran and almost hid in the farm behind your house because it was such a big thing. You also did tell me, Mr. Speaker, that political positions are temporary, that at some point you will lose them, but never be too worried if you have been a good person and doing your actual work, and that even when you lose, probably a bigger door opens. And Mr. Speaker, we saw that when you lost, you eventually became a speaker of this House.
There's a point of order, Honorable Nyamita.
The Honorable Nyamita is speaking a good thing, Speaker, but let him just wear this mask. Let us be obedient to this mask. This disease is dangerous. Please, let's protect each other.
Yeah, I think the point by the Honorable Omulele is a valid one, Honorable Nyamita. It's only that, Honorable members, you see, we do not keep publicizing what is happening. But from time to time, we do observe a few of your colleagues have not been around for some time. We normally know where they are. So the point being made by the Honorable Omulele is a valid one.
Thank you, and I oblige Mr. Speaker, and I'm fully masked. And I want to tell Honorable Mulele that soon I will be one of the people leading the rest of this House to take the job. But back to my story, Mr. Speaker, you did say that when you lose a political position, do not be too worried if you're doing a good job because something bigger and better possibly is coming. And when you lost your seat in Chicago, you ended up becoming the Speaker, and you're serving the Speaker for your second term. I was also a bit worried because, you know, I belonged to the other coalition that did not support you. But I remember you giving me the history between you and Honorable John Buddy, and how John Buddy had promised to vote for you in your second term until the last minute, and they came and he was at least honest with you, and he told you, I will not vote. And you told him you understand. And Mr. Speaker, I did then invite you to come and visit me in my constituency. Again, I was not sure that you would honor that invite. But you said, oh, okay, I have never been to Riri specifically, and though you served with one of the former members, Honorable Odhiambo Mamba, and you said you will try. And on the material day, I remember the weather was not very good. I was very worried, all the preparations had been done. You ended up arriving almost at 5, meaning you keep your word. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, you are the first sitting Speaker of this House to come to my constituency, and we don't take it for granted. You made history in my area. We did a fundraiser for a church with you, Mr. Speaker, and our people prayed for you. And I remember the prayer was that you were set for bigger things. I can see some of those prayers are already being answered, Mr. Speaker. I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that you are not only the first Speaker to come to my constituency, but this history will be that you will be the first Deputy President to also come and visit my constituency. And please allow me, it's my time, because I know the plans that Baba has for you. And I want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to wish you well. We will work with you, and may God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Igembe South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join my fellow colleagues in congratulating you. On behalf of the people of Igembe South and Meru County in general, Mr. Speaker, you are a leader to be emulated. And for my people of Igembe South, Mr. Speaker, whenever I attend meetings within my constituency, they normally tend to advise me to be following your footsteps and what you have done, Mr. Speaker, in your earlier duties, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, last week on Saturday, it was just a beginning, Mr. Speaker, for your brighter future. So, Mr. Speaker, as my fellow colleagues has congratulated you, it means that all leaders, Mr. Speaker, have identified something which is very special in you, Mr. Speaker. And it is time, Mr. Speaker, to start exploiting, Mr. Speaker, that good thing which is in you, Mr. Speaker, even in the entire country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would be more happy, Mr. Speaker, if you go for that high post, Mr. Speaker, because now you are the third in command, Mr. Speaker. But come next year, Mr. Speaker, I pray that also you take a step ahead, Mr. Speaker, and ask for the number one of this country, Mr. Speaker. And we will be ready, Mr. Speaker, to support you because your leadership, Mr. Speaker, has been tested and proven, Mr. Speaker, and that's why the elders from Meru, Mr. Speaker, identified you and decided, Mr. Speaker, to elevate you, Mr. Speaker, as the spokesperson, Mr. Speaker, of the Mount Kenya East, Mr. Speaker. Also, I pray that the entire mountain, Mr. Speaker, and the entire country, Mr. Speaker, should speak with one voice, Mr. Speaker, and endorse you, Mr. Speaker, for the presidency post, Mr. Speaker, come the year 2022. God bless you. God bless your desires, Mr. Speaker, as you aspire, Mr. Speaker, to move higher. Thank you.
Member for Westlands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to congratulate you for being given that mantle by the elders of your region, Mr. Speaker. I know the journey you have traveled. Mr. Speaker, one of your first stations you served as a magistrate is in my home county. And you know, even there, Mr. Speaker, as much as you are that young, you are already installed as an elder, which means they recognize and saw that leadership in you. And Mr. Speaker, even as I congratulate you, I also want to bring hearty congratulations from my father, who is your friend. He also said that he has seen his friend being installed, and he told me to come and say congratulations to you. Mr. Speaker, I wish you well. I pray for you, and I know you are destined for great things. Please keep going, and we will support you and will work with you, as we have done. I know the 11th Parliament was one of the most difficult parliament in this country, Mr. Speaker, but you steered through, you managed to balance. The hostility was there, you balanced between the opposition and the ruling party side, but you managed, Mr. Speaker, and that showed your great leadership skills. Mr. Speaker, I wish you well, and may God bless you. Thank you very much.
Finally, the Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was hoping I would actually be the last one to summarize. And I've been listening to the accolades and the messages that have been sent your way by colleagues, and I want to congratulate you. I know I would have wished to be there so that we could also celebrate but some of these ceremonies take longer to sing. So I know we will still have the celebratory occasion with some water of some defined characteristics, where Honorable Sankok may not be welcome, and a few others. But it's a watershed in an elder's life. And I know we have been through some similar things in our own local situation. But it's a recognition by the elders of your leadership capacity. But more importantly, when you look at the Mount Kenya East region, it's actually one of the regions that since the loss of, the anchor, the Angaines, and it's a region that has been left almost without some leadership. And this has led to, like all aspirants, assuming the people of Mount Kenya East don't have leadership, can't think on themselves, and everyone just taking advantage of them. So I think one of the things that this is showing is the people of Mount Kenya East have woken up and said, yes, in our days, we look to President Kibaki to hold the entire. We look to President Uhuru to hold the entire Gema nation. But as we move forward, Mount Kenya East feels like it's left behind as Mount Kenya West sorts out its issues. And that recognition that they can see in you, that you can hold together those three huge counties and give them some sense of direction so that people stop taking advantage of that region. It's something that we all appreciate. And it will help guide people, even as we are going through the BBI process, so that people can see the wider benefits within a document rather than, the propaganda that they are being fed with. And I'm sure you'll be able to soberly guide that situation, because there are some good elders in that region, the Ibuis, the Bishop, the Matthews, and they've really been trying, but they're also getting old. So it's really something that I'm very happy that happened, and you were picked. And I could see the signs even when we were in Sagana. You could see people, beckoning and saying, why can't the speaker, come and help in galvanizing some of these issues? Because there's nothing as bad as a house divided. It can never stand. But now we will see unity, and it's something that will help even in galvanizing the rest of Kenya. So even as we are talking of building the bridges, as one is building a bridge between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, there has to be anchor pillars, or where that bridge has to be anchored. Between Mount Kenya East or West and the Mlemenish, there has to be some pillars. And you provide that focal point for that. So I want to congratulate you for that, and look forward to this day when we shall now sit down as elders. I'm not sure whether Sankok will qualify. Initially as elders. Then we'll have the next ring is the invited aspiring elders. And we will sit with them and can now continue the celebration, and more importantly, the big role of unifying Kenya, starting at the family level, at the micro level, before we get to the wider macro level, and eventually into the place of Kenya within the region and the world. So I wish to, once again, join my colleagues and thank my colleagues for all the kind words that they have said. I also know that you're a great listener, and I know there is lots of advice you've been given, like we give during weddings. But eventually, I know you'll be able to sift. I know which one to take, which one not to take, and continue, because the wisdom of elders is listen and know what to absorb and what to take forward. And I'm sure it's been a good day, but the avalanche of goodwill messages that have been sent is an indication of how the members of this House value your leadership. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Sorry, I thought now surely, honourable members, I appreciate. Let's now do some business. What do you mean minorities? What? 1 minute each. Who is that? Who is that one? Is that Honorable Zambia? Please, 1 minute. Then we will have the Honorable Massimo Albele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I will be very brief, joining my colleagues to congratulate you on behalf of the Kilome constituency residents and the Lower Eastern. We really have a lot of hope in you as a country. And now that you have assumed a new role, you have a lot on the way to actually engage this country in terms of uniting the whole country and the people of Kenya. You remember you represent a house with 209 constituencies where all the members come from different destinations, and it is now clear that the role you are going to play in the next few years to come will be based on the hope the Kenyans have in you. Congratulations and God bless you. Thank you.
Honorable Albele, member for Laisamis.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
it is good for everybody to know their colleagues' constituencies as well.
Correct. Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on the behalf of the people of Laisamis, I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you for having been endorsed as a statesman and as a speaker for representing the Embu, Meru, and Tigania communities. Mr. Speaker, human beings in life, they aspire to become something, and eventually they actually go up the ladder to become somebody, to occupy a certain position, and so forth and so on. And therefore in you, Mr. Speaker, I've come to learn that one time in your life, you have been a judge. You have equally been a member of parliament. You have equally been a speaker, not once, twice. That actually translates that you are a man of your caliber. That indeed, having attained all those positions, therefore, the enduring Cheke, these are elders of a stature who have sat down and seen around, having looked around and actually seen and settled on you that you will be the kingpin, that you will be the spokesman for this particular community. Mr. Speaker, the Mount Kenya region has been, throughout history, a very united community. Whether they come from Meru, whether they come from Tigania, whether they are Kikuyus, and so forth and so on. Because they are being referred to as the gamers. Today, politically, we are seeing that some people are trying to make some crossroads into that territory, trying to break that unity. And I hope the elders who have actually settled on you have realized they want to have one voice from Mount Kenya. And indeed, for Kenya to be united, we are all looking at the mountain, including the Rendiles, the minority tribe in Kenya. The Rendiles, we are looking at the mountain. If the mountain gets to break into 2 or into 3, then Kenya is divided. Now that the enduring Cheke have settled on you, that you are the spokesman, that you are the leader, you are supposed to show bravery of that position, that you need to win their confidence by showing leadership, the same leadership you have shown in the House here, by saying order, order, order. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, I am sure and I believe in you that you will be able to deliver. so that the house which is almost splitting away, the Mount Kenya house, under your leadership, you will be able to bring everybody together. And if indeed it means taking some of us with you to Mount Kenya to show solidarity because we represent the entire Kenya, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure you we will join you so that at least we will be able to have, and actually your people can be able to see and witness that indeed you are not walking alone, but you are walking with the entire Kenya, the members of parliament. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I wish you all the best. I wish you good health. I wish you to, I will pray for you to have wisdom in order to see your vision come true. And anything is possible, Mr. Speaker. Having gone up the ladder this way, you can easily become even the president of Kenya. And I wish you all the best, that God helps you, you go up the helm. But having reached there, don't forget your friend, Honorable Malima Arbele from Leisamis. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Now, honourable members, I think now we must go to the next order. But before we go to that next order, honourable members, I want to draw your attention to the existence of a supplementary order paper. I believe it has been uploaded. Because there are certain additions which might not have been there earlier. So, next order.
Order number 8, the Narcotics, Drugs, and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2020. Second reading.
Now, honourable members, I want to draw your attention to the following facts. That this bill was moved by the chair of the Committee on Administration and National Security, the Honourable Paul Koinange, seconded by the Honourable Peter Kaluma. Thereafter, the following members contributed. The Honourable Ali Raso. I'm saying this because some of you have placed your interventions. The Honourable Mohammed Ali, the Honourable Leader of Majority, the Honourable Millie Odhiambo, the Honourable Dr. Pukose, the Honourable Oku Kaunya, the Honourable Emmanuel Wangwe, the Honourable Owen Baya, the Honourable Janet Nagabo, the Honourable Garane Hire, the Honourable Fatuma Gedi, the Honourable Makali Mulu, the Honourable Anthony Kiai, who has a balance of 2 minutes. So, Honourable Kiai, is he in the house? You know, maybe this is some information members need to know, that when you are told that you have a balance of time, it is advisable that you'll be in the chamber on the next sitting day. So the Honourable Kiai not being present in the house, is the next one who was speaking outside, who spoke outside the Hansant, but somehow was captured, is the Honourable Shakil, member for Kisumu East.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. Thank you for recognizing that I was to speak, but there was a little confusion. When a speaker, sir, the issue of narcotics bill is a very important issue. It is all over Africa, all over Kenya, and we're getting very concerned about it, even in my own constituency. Honorable Speaker, sir, I support fully the narcotics bill and the increase of the penalties for those who have been found in possession of narcotics. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the real crooks are the big boys. And the big boys, some of them have been members of parliament, some of them even have been governors, and especially in the coast. They have got away with it, and they have gone into different ideas The problem that we have, I mean, there was the family of the Akasha family who seemed to get away with everything. Number of narcotics were even found with some of these people. They were taken to court. Some of them went to run away to abroad. Some of them were even taken to the USA. The problem that we have in this country is the anti-narcotics police are part and parcel of the main police force. They're speaking in billions. There was a senior officer in the police who tried he was trying to take this issue of narcotics forward. He was even executed, or he was killed by his own. The Honorable Muhammad Ali, now a member of parliament, was able to expose the drug lords that we had on the coast. But for some reason, these drug lords get cover, and the small boys are the ones who are charged. Bwana Speaker, sir, it is not cannabis that is the problem here. It's straightforward heroin. And our youth, especially in Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi, and other places, have lost their whole livelihood. They've lost their future by these drug lords. You know, in Mexico, there was El Chapo. In Colombia, there was somebody else. In Kenya, we have had the Al-Qashas, and we have the others who have come and destroyed the future of our youth. The fact of the issue is that if you are saying to them that we're increasing the fine, these guys get away. They have advocates and they have lawyers in the highest of places, and they get away with it. I think, as much as I agree with the objects of the bill, that we should increase the fines, I think somewhere along the line, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to now act, and we have to act decisively to make sure that those people who are benefiting from the heroin and the other strong narcotics are actually pinned down and taken to task. Unfortunately, in this country, they get away with it. So we do not want state capture like Colombia, state capture like Bolivia. We really wish that the police, their special arm of police should be put together. The anti-narcotics, they should be paid well. They should be looked after and made sure that they take action. Sometimes, as much as we are saying that everybody should be given a chance to protect themselves, but Mr. Speaker, sir, some of these drug lords encourage murder, encourage killing, encourage the breaking of society. And I think that as much as we are talking about the fact that somebody would charge so many million shillings, I do not think that will happen. All that will happen is the police force will be stymied. Those keen people, because there's billions of shillings involved, those people will get away with it. So, Mr. Chair, Honorable Speaker, sir, I urge this Parliament to improve and increase the Parliament, the power of the power of the Cabinet Secretary and others who are there to come and now attack the issue of narcotics. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kisumu, Kenya has become a transit for drugs coming from places like Afghanistan and other places, and we're a transit for those drugs now going to Europe and Americas. Yet, Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening to those people who have made millions upon millions of shillings and got away with it. The money, I speak about the Akasha family, they made billions. There are some others as well. And there's others who are in power right now, who have started and got their millions through drug dealing. Now I think it's about these people to be mentioned, these people to be taken forward, and they to be dealt with in accordance with the law. But sometimes, Mr. Speaker, sometimes murderers who get away, drug dealers who get away and spoil the life of so many people, we sometimes have to take shortcuts. And I'm urging that as much as we say that the lawyers should be blacklisted, especially those ones who come in, these high-powered lawyers, they go and protect these drug dealers. I think somewhere along the line we've got to say, there's somewhere along the line, the country must come first. The people must come first. So, Mr. Speaker, as much as I agree that these fines are increased, but there's no need to increase the fines if you're not going to catch the criminals. So we urge that this time the anti-narcotics police, their powers be increased, their salaries and remuneration be increased, and they be given special authority to move against drug dealers without falling too much in the so-called law, where they get frustrated and the drug dealers get away. With those few remarks, Speaker, sir, thank you very much. And I do support this particular amendment. I do, however, think it is not strong enough, and I wish it was much stronger. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Fanya hivi, wewe teremuka tu chini. Hata watu wanangojea, unasema unione? Si ninakuona ndio huyu kucha. Kucha ninakuona.
Yoi.
Nimekuita mara ngapi Kate? This is the Nissan Note.
Hii ndio motoka.
Not that this is the Nissan Note we are giving out.
Na ni rahisi sana kuwekelea bid. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Unaweka paybill number 4032353. Kisha unakelea account number ya Nissan Note ni Note, N-O-T-E. Namba ambayo unapenda, labda unapenda 100, labda unapenda 200, wekelea Note 100, Note 200. Alafu tutakuitisha shilingi 40 peke yake, 40 bob only. Weka pin yako, utakuwa umekelea bid ya hii Nissan Note. Inakungoja wewe mahali popote ulipo. Mimi na mtumishi tutakupea.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
I'm actually very grateful to Cesar for what he did for me and for my daughter. If he hadn't risked his life to protect Valeria, I don't know what would have happened.
And how about Valeria? Is she all right? Is she out of danger?
Could it be a coincidence? Or are you here with a purpose? You are in the lives of Mauro, Max, and Cesar. Why weren't you the one whom the flames reached?
You just take it easy. Calm down. Relax, okay? Everything's going to be all right.
What's this, huh?
What?
What is he doing here?
Tip on your toe, go bubble for me, girl. Wickedest slam, say I do have it. Balance my head, cut it up for me, girl. Hot and sexy, walk out, go.
Star boy.
You and I have something special, baby. Something we only see in the movies. You give me sunshine on a cloudy day. I see you in the dark, light comes my way. Nani tam tam, mapenzi unayonipati yani tam tam. Oh, tam tam, mapenzi unayonipati yani tam tam. Your loving is too much for me. Your kisses and your touch, too much for me. And every time you hold me closer, I feel weak. Your loving is too much for me. This love is making me wiser, making me wiser. This love is making me wiser, making me wiser. I feel butterflies unaponigusa. Moyo wangu wa makuti umeuteketeza. Yeah. My love is like a soldier, loyal till I die. And I pray to Jehovah to keep you by my side. My love is like a soldier, loyal till I die. I keep praying to Jehovah to keep you by my side. Mapenzi unayonipati yani tam tam. Oh, tam tam. Mapenzi unayonipati yani tam tam. Your loving is too much for me. Your kisses and your touch, too much for me. And every time you hold me closer, I feel weak. Your loving is too much for me. This love is making me wiser, making me wiser. This love is making me wiser, making me wiser. This love is making me wiser, making me wiser.
If you don't do me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong move. If you don't treat me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong move. We used to be something so real, tough like steel. You are my one big deal. You play me like a fool, took me to the wrong school. You mix me up like your ital steel. Never had nobody do me like this. No, 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 no. You left me hanging, crying in tears. Tell me why you so cold. If you don't do me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong move. If you don't treat me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong move. I see you busy on my telephone line, begging to come back one more time. You had your chance and you blew it while I no second dance to sleep and slide. Wachana na mimi, jisaini kofiti, nilitupa chini, and now you won't get me, no. If you don't do me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong move. If you don't treat me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong.
My youth, you made a wrong move, a wrong move. My youth, you made a wrong move. I said you made a wrong move. Somebody take away your girl. Tell you now you mash up the plan. Wrong move, a wrong move. My youth, you made a wrong move, a wrong move. My youth, you made a wrong move. Somebody take away your girl, me say you mash up the plan.
If you don't do me right, somebody's gonna get in line. You'll be watching as we wine and dine, and you will know you made a wrong.
I show this for the ghetto. Bogini a ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Lion paw for the ghetto. Light it up for the ghetto. Rieni a ghetto. Bogini a ghetto. Nyaga mwana nyaga koni kwa nyumaga. Deluji kwa melima hapo nona kaga. Dili na antopiti na karanga. Utamu utadonjo siyo kukumanga. I can sing, I can flow, the masses can ignore. I do this for the ghetto. Superstar from the get-go. Hii ni ya ghetto. Umetoka ghetto sema. I do this for the ghetto. Bogini ya ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Lion paw for the ghetto. Light it up for the ghetto. Rieni ya ghetto. Bogini ya ghetto. I used to boda matatu aksungwaro. Now you boda matatu aksa anto. For me na kupakula bench ni lazima. Player number 1 hard trick ni lazima. Pull on them strong kutoa ni lazima. Ongea nyoko nyoko uppercuts ni lazima. Tembea ovyo hapa cuts ni lazima. Uliza Kenya power hata stima tunazima. Hata stima tunazima. I do this for the ghetto. Bogini a ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Pasta blanc for the ghetto. Lion paw for the ghetto. Light it up for the ghetto. Rieni a ghetto. Bogini a ghetto.
Dairi ni feparan siku kasi. Kama unaondoka tufe wote. Kila kidogo chetu kitutoshe, yeah. Bora niko na wewe nimeridhia. Oh, for your love nitapigana. You got me going crazy over love. Nitapigana nini uwe wangu. Uwe wangu. Oh, nikupeleke kana posona. Tell me what's your favorite color. Nitapendana nini uwe wangu. Uwe wangu. Baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Caribbean dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby. Tunukia ana kifesi boti na tabia. Go on, go on, follow, go on. When you go on, follow, go on, go on, follow. Oh, for your love, nitapigana. You got me going crazy over love. Nitapigana nini uwe wangu, uwe wangu. Oh, nikupeleke kana posona. Tell me what's your favorite color. Nitapendana nini uwe wangu. Uwe wangu. Baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby dance along, along to a favorite song. Caribbean dance along, along to a favorite song. Oh yeah, baby. Kwa ikanagana Eritanya katuki jogi piro loki kananga mama. Afundi
mimi siwezi jali wakisema about you. Miaka zimepita saini tatu, kone jogi lara kama tatu. I just wanna see you when you say good morning. No dental formula